say that grown-up men are still just little boys, that really the only difference is the price of our toys. We go for macho symbols like guns and running shoes, pickup trucks, hunting ducks, and power tools, power tools, power tools.
Yeah, I've heard about you people dialing into this show on a Saturday. What are you thinking? Pat's gone.
God bless you all.
But thanks for joining.
By the way, do you know what a secret is, Allison?
Secret?
Secret is something you tell people one at a time.
Yeah.
Ah.
Pat's gone.
He is for the third week in a row. Are you missing him yet?
I missed him the first week.
Yeah.
You know, he's fun. He's just fun. Did
God
you see
rest his soul.
He posted.
He's on.
By the way,
He's on a cruise.
He's just on vacation.
Yeah, this is the Home and Garden Show, brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. Water storms, fire, and wet basements. Well, you know, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through them. You give them a call at 844-FIX-INDY. Allison Lemons is there. Jack Phipps, welcome again, buddy.
Yes, thank you
for having me.
3 weeks in a row.
I know.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're Bill and Sullivan for this, too, by the way.
Yeah, he'll get that first thing when he gets back.
Plant expert right there.
And if you have not been downtown, I think the worst of it's over. There was a race of sorts, a foot race going on.
Colts 5K.
And it's about over. They have opened up Monument Circle again, but every one of you, except Jack, kept sending me messages. Everybody was keeping me posted. I'm not going to be there.
I was worried. I was a little worried.
Sullivan. And who knows? Sully comes back Sunday, I think. Is that right?
I believe so.
I think that's right. Yeah, get ready,
He's
Jack.
been all around the world.
I know.
Went to Italy and Greece and...
He said it was 100 degrees in Greece.
Wow.
I thought it was hot this week. When the dew point gets up above 60 or 65, it gets pretty ugly. You can handle the heat, but when that dew point comes up with humidity, it's just
almost unbearable
It is
that point.
Pretty much. Hey, listen, we got a fun day today. We've got the Pepper Ladies coming in. Tanya Echt and... is it Echt or Ike? I'll have to ask her, who's the former roller derby queen. And then Jenny Lambert. There are the Pepper Ladies, and they're going to be coming in with some special hooch, we hope. That'll be fun. And before I forget, happy birthday, Linda Ali, a WIBC alum. She did What's Cooking for, 6, 8, 10 years. And just if you've ever been able to enjoy a meal with Linda Ali, you have been blessed. But happy birthday, Linda. And I guess, I wanted to say, I went over to Sullivan Hardware, Allison. There's some big green egg sales going on. We got to pump that for them today.
Oh, yeah. So actually, this time next week, we'll be at Sullivan's for Egg Fest.
Oh, boy.
Indie Egg Fest. And during the event, we have, I believe, like 70 big green eggs going, and people are making tons of different foods. We have like burnt ends and blueberry cobbler, like anything and everything
Shrimp
you want.
tacos, literally everything.
Yeah, literally everything. But obviously we need grills to do that. So Pat and his team, they sell these big green eggs. They call them demo eggs.
They've been used one time.
So we use them once during the event, then they clean it up, and then it'll deliver it to your house for free. So if you are interested in a big green egg,
there's a huge discount for that. I mean, it's not just a delivery.
It's about 25%.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Which is really good. So if you're interested in that, go online to sullivanhardware.com, because I think there's only a couple left, but it's honestly, it's a pretty good deal.
A pretty good deal.
70 eggs going all at the same time in one place. That has to be a record.
It's a global warming nightmare, I'm sure.
I think.
I bet it shows up on the NASA satellites as
the heat map,
whatever it is. And Jack has done some research today, and we've got some fun things for you. I went to the dermatologist this week. You know, I have to worry about my complexion. You know, they always freeze you with liquid nitrogen. Have you been through that yet, Allison?
No.
Okay, if you have any spots that could be precancerous or skin tags or whatever, they take liquid nitrogen in a little gun, and it's like a squirt gun, only it freezes it, and then it scabs up. So
I'm waiting for the fun.
No, there's no fun. There's no fun. Okay. You know, you get to a point, you've been in the sun a lot, you got to go do that. But anyway, I show up at the dermatologist, and behind the counter is a sweet lady named Sandy, and she's got these stings all over her. She had run into a yellow jacket's nest, and they nailed her. They just absolutely nailed her. So I reached out to
arms?
under her,
Ow.
right here on the backside of her arm, in her ear canal. You know that part? He got in there and nailed her. Poor Sandy. I just.
Oh my gosh! In the ear kind of scares me.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
gonna-
hello,
The
Terry
armpit
Stacy.
scares me.
Everybody.
Wow.
Terry,
Good morning.
Terry was fighting the traffic like all of us downtown. There was the
She was
Colts
actually
family
running the marathon.
I ran it and then I got my car. That was the problem. I should have just run here.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll remember next year.
Works for us.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jack's going to tell us all about yellow jackets, and if you have been dealing with those nasty little boogers, you're going to learn a lot about them. I did, and then also I got an email about cicada killers. You know, the biggest wasp that's out there is called the cicada killer, a great big one. So I did some research on that one. So Jack and I are going to play entomology today.
Wow.
We're going to really
The fun continues.
The fun continues.
It does.
And we're here to take your phone call. I hope you'll reach out. It's 317-239-9393. 317-239-9393. We're here to answer whatever questions you might have. But again, lots of fun coming your way. The Pepper Ladies are going to be here next hour. Terry and Allison have got Craft Corner. Maybe Terry will tell us a
Wait,
little.
ours is bug related too.
Well, look at that.
Wow.
Do we have a theme for the day?
Bugs.
Well, we've got theme music. We've got Mary Chapin Carpenter. And have you
Did
ever
you
heard
make a playlist, Denny?
Oh, yes, I did. Here we
This
go.
is your last
set list
week.
Yeah, you want to give us the playlist for Mary Chapin here?
Yeah, so we got Mary Chapin, Carpenter, Bug, Fun, Some Nights, John Mellencamp, Small Town. That's only in the first hour, but I feel like we should save these for the audience.
All right, so
let her be
we'll-
surprised.
We'll do that, and then of course we got a very special theme for the Pepper Ladies. We're bringing Elvis back.
Oh, yeah.
Elvis never
back.
died. He just went home.
Elvis just went home.
Yeah, Elvis never died. He just went home.
I just. And by the way, that is Landon Coons, our producer now, and you're full-time producer now. You're not even working promotions anymore.
Yeah, no longer in promotions. Thank God.
Is that a promotion?
Yeah, I guess getting out of promotions is a promotion.
Getting out of promotions
Yeah.
is promotion. It's good to have you.
Thank you,
We've
sir.
almost learned to tolerate you. If you haven't seen Landon wears a cowboy hat, and how he wears, he's got earbuds in. Now I see how you're doing it. Yeah.
I tried it with doing the headphones underneath.
How did you find a hat big enough for that big bucket head?
It's a good question. I can't. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Still trying to figure
The
it
hat
out.
really finds you.
Yeah,
as
it's
Allison-
it's a calling.
It's a calling. Jack Phipps is from Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan up at 119th. Is it?
116th.
116th in Allison. I'm sorry. I was trying to come south, so it'd be 115th in Allisonville, right by the Taco Bell.
Right by the Taco Bell.
Do you eat Taco Bell every week?
A couple times a week.
Couple times a week.
I do enjoy a crunchy taco.
Hey, mums are in. Have you guys got mums yet?
No, we were holding out one more week. We have some really fun fall annuals, a lot of fall color. Mums will be coming in this week.
And then also Mum Fest is early September. So that's
are
a
we-
really good deal at all the Sullivan locations for mums. So if you want to hold out a little bit, that's what I suggest.
Are we
We'll have a
doing?
lot of nice mums coming in for Mum Fest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is there a Halloween town? What do we call the?
Oh, Pumpkin Town. Yeah, that's
Pumpkin
over
Town.
in Allisonville as well.
And tickets will be going on sale.
August 31st.
Are we going to
At
be
4
up there
p.m.
for a remote on a Saturday for that one?
Yes, I believe in October we'll be out there for one Saturday. But Pumpkin Town's always a lot of fun, too.
A lot of fun. If you haven't been out to the Indiana State Fair, this is the last weekend. Terry, you're the State Fair princess. You've been out there as much as anybody.
No. I'm not the princess at all.
Oh, you're the
You don't
queen?
want to take that away from the real princess.
Are you the
Queen.
queen?
Because there's a real princess, there's a real queen.
Yeah. Well, you're royalty for WIBC.
You're
Well,
honorary.
All right.
That's
So
very
tell us
sweet.
what's going on the fair. Have you
Thank
been
you,
there
Linda.
every day?
I have not been out there every day. No,
Okay.
no, not every day. But a lot and love it. I still love it. The last weekend is kind of it's kind of sad. The fair looks like it's ready to go. You know, it
Everyone's
just
probably
feels it. It just
tired.
feels like everybody's tired. It's a big day. I mean, the last day of the fair, I'll be there tomorrow working, and it's packed. If the weather is good, the last day of the fair, because there's deals to be had, and it's kind of. And then the next day, then for the next couple of days, then you tear down the fair, and that's
And everybody
it's sad.
takes the animals back home. But hey, somebody asked me my favorite food. I was only out there the one day, but I still have to say that donut or that applesauce donut with with the brisket on the inside.
It won taste of the fair.
Did it really?
It won best.
It should have. That was my
the top
favorite.
3. The other one is the second. I think is the slushy tea,
Sweet tea slushy.
sweet tea slushy,
I heard that was good.
and it is. But I have to say I'm curious how was number 2, because the top 3 go to the World Food Championship,
Which is here.
in November here, and it's cool that we get it at the fairgrounds. And
That was number 2.
that was number 2, and I
was
can't
number 3?
remember what number 3 was. It was another one that's it was the blueberry filled elephant ear.
Oh, Hammer and Nigel were raving about that.
It's good. It is delicious.
Is
It's
that the
really
one
delicious.
that it didn't really look like blueberry? It just looked like some sort of gelatin that was inside the elephant ear.
Yeah, it looks like
Sort of purple.
blueberry ice cream.
Yeah, it did not look.
Yeah, or blueberry cream cheese, really, or something like that. It's good. It's really good. But there were so many different foods, and I was just curious. People loved them. That's how people voted.
You know, you vote with your mouth and your taste buds
Yeah.
and your wallet. It is the Home and Garden Show. Pat will be back next week. I missed him. I really did. You know, as much as he rides me like a rented mule, I really do
You
enjoy
got to admit, though, Jenny, really, you like sitting in the big chair, don't you?
I really don't.
It suits you well.
I
well,
think
that's
you
kind
do.
of it. Well,
yeah, I think you do. It
Pat doesn't-
shines. It shows when you sit there.
Pat does not do any planning. If Pat does any planning, it's from the doorway to this chair, and it's whatever hits him when that mic opens.
But that's what makes him so likable.
I'm the guy that has to find
I think it is.
fly
It is.
poop in the
Amazing.
pepper,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's the odd couple. I'm not sure which one of those two I am, but it's the odd couple.
I would say
Felix?
definitely. You're Tony Randall,
Yeah. Well,
or in the newer version that I don't know who that is. There's a newer version of the Odd Couple, and it was like Matthew. Who was it? Matthew Perry. Who was in that?
Oh.
Somebody was in that.
I'm not
wasn't Matthew
familiar with
Perry.
either.
Oh, well, you're missing out on the first one. The first one is a great show. With,
Yeah, it was Jack
Oscar-
Klugman.
Right, Jack Klugman and Tony Randall.
Yeah, and one
Really good.
was a sportscaster and was an absolute slob, and the other one was a neat freak, And so there we go. Hey, listen, we're taking your phone calls. Take advantage of that. 317-239-9393. What now?
Thomas Lennon.
And who was the other one?
Matthew Perry. you're
Matthew
right.
Perry.
Well,
That was in 2016.
They tried to
I don't
bring
think
it
that
back.
lasted very long.
in fact. Speaking of which, Hollywood is all up in drama about AI. I've been invited to go to a business conference. It's going to meet 4 times a year, and all of it is how to use AI in business. That spooks me out. Does that bother you guys at all?
No, I think it's so interesting just to embrace it
It's
early
an
on.
it's 4 days all day, and they bring in experts from all over. But the first time I saw AI, I had the guy that actually did the AI, and then his AI duplicate, and they put them side by side on a video. And I swear to goodness, I could not tell them apart.
Yeah.
And he said, "This is where it's going." Well, that scares the snot out of me. I mean,
Absolutely.
if we start
yeah.
duplicating Jack Phipps or
especially
Terry
in our
Stacy-
business, our type
I
of
think
business.
it might be hard
Exactly.
to duplicate.
There's
even
probably a
for
lot of AI commercials that are running that we
You
just
know
don't
what?
even know about.
I think I'm
They're
gonna
supposed to
try to
disclose
sign up
this.
for that. It's a bunch of
No.
money.
It's what,
but
Jack?
They're supposed to disclose if it's an artificial intelligence.
Oh,
like
at the end of the spot,
content.
like
Yeah.
a little tag.
Or at least for political ads.
That's bullcrap. They're not going to do that.
No.
They're not going to do that. They can close up the shots. They can cheat in so many ways with that stuff. But
And
anyway,
we can be replaced like that.
yeah,
with AI.
But this is media, okay?
Yeah.
This is media.
Not
When you-
news,
right?
but
when
a
you,
host.
But you think about what that means for business or what it. It's just an acceleration of transactions of some sort, and I'm not sure I'm in favor of it. But I'm a
It's
businessman, and I got
interesting.
to
It
pay
has
attention to it,
potential.
for sure.
Yeah, but as a host, AI cannot connect with people the way that Terry Stacy does.
No.
But you could create such a character with AI. That's just my brain is thinking.
Can we start with
Now, I think it
everything's
could-
moving so fast, and I just hope it slows and is used in a good way.
Yeah, that's going to be the key,
It's not
right?
gonna be
And
used.
that's probably why we need to be more educated about it to make sure we do use it in the right way. Because there
Yeah.
are things that I think are really helpful.
I think
This
it's
is
a great
not
brainstorming tool.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
is not sunshine and lollipops, kids.
Danny,
If
who's
it
so
can be
big
used for
AI?
good, it can
I will
be used
tell
for
you,
bad.
I think this is kind of cool. Okay, so I needed something the other day. I'll just say I needed like a speech. Okay,
You did
and I
do
need
it.
it to be 20 seconds, and I just to see
okay.
how
yeah.
it would work, because I've never used it before
You and
with
Casey Daniel.
ChatGPT.
You and Casey.
And I put it. Is Casey doing it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in this building that use it.
I didn't say that. I'm trying it.
It's not a bad thing.
And I
not.
put in what I wanted to talk about, and within the blink of an eye, it wrote me a 20-minute speech. All the facts, everything in there that would have taken me hours to look up.
You think kids haven't
And-
figured this out?
Oh, I'm sure they
Oh,
have.
my
They've done
sister-
it for probably months and months and months.
My sister's an English teacher for high school, and she said it's quite hilarious though, because it's very obvious, because they'll use certain words that she's like, I know my kids don't know
I've never seen
what
or
this
heard
word
that
is.
word in their life.
Yeah, all she has to
Yeah.
do is ask for them to define it or something
I wonder
like
if you
that.
could put in
Just pronounce it.
written by I need a speech about a car written by an 8-year-old.
I was just gonna say if you could put a little like a twist on it.
I don't know if they're smart enough for that.
I bet you they are.
When we
Just
come
try
back-
it right now, try it.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about AI when we come back. Right now, we're taking your phone calls. When we come back, we're going to talk to Steve, and hopefully you too. 317-239-9393, right here on WIBC. That's right. Sometimes you're the windshield, and sometimes you're the bug.
Just waiting for that.
When Sully isn't here, I always feel like I'm the bug. We're brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. They can deal with your bugs, water storms, fire and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. 844-FIX-INDY. In studio with me today, I've got Allison Lemons. Always good to have you, Allison. I
good to
love it
be
when you
here.
talk. You should talk more with a hammer and Nigel.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah. Terry Lynn Stacy, Hall of Fame broadcaster for the state of Indiana. Good to have you too, Terry.
Thank you.
And the famous Jack Phipps from Allisonville, Home and Garden by Sullivan. Boy, I appreciate your wisdom. I got some really nice comments from people that I ran into. Who's this Jack Phipps guy? Anyway, they were impressed, buddy. And
Well, I
that's what it
appreciate
was.
that.
In just a minute, we're going to hear more about your Yellow Jackets. Are you
Okay.
ready?
I am.
Yeah, you prepared. Let's talk.
I used AI.
That's
to
called
write.
a tease.
Yeah,
It's called
Do
a
you use
tease.
AI? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
to
saying?
write a little.
Speaking of teasing,
Good for you.
we've got the Stevers on here with us. Hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm doing great, Denny, Jack, Terry, and Allison. Hey, I have a question about the Pat Sullivan Welcome Home Party next week,
Oh, yeah.
brother.
or better known as Egg Fest. Are there tickets still available for that? Because you just mentioned about the grills, but nothing about how you get in to enjoy the food at Egg Fest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, believe me. We have 4 hours to talk about that. But yes, yeah. Tickets are available online right now, 40 for adults and 10 for kids. And you can always just buy the day of at the door.
And it's all the food you can eat.
Yeah, it's truly, I mean, gosh, they have so much food.
Yes, they
So
do.
many food samples. We were just talking about it. Yeah.
Lots of food.
I was going to name it, but I'm like, let it be a surprise.
And the ticket.
Is there going to be valet parking, or you just got to park?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Denny will be up front. You just give him a 20 and he will park it right on Keystone.
I'll be on Tuxedo Lane. They're all ready to go. Okay?
Well, that's great. And the great thing about Egg Fest is it kicks off Sullivan Hardware Festival season with Mumfest,
Yep.
Pumpkin Town.
Wait a minute. Is this AI Steve or is this Steve?
Steve's the original AI.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Pat Sullivan calling in from Greece,
Yeah.
disguising his voice and pretending to be Steve.
However, it's not too early to think about the most important festival at Sullivan Hardware, and that would be Radiothon. Start saving those nickels and dimes now so you can make a generous donation.
I love you
think
for that.
Mel has set like $750,000 this year for the goal.
No. It's not that high. It's not that high. We've got the goal. We'll be Steve, you're embarrassing me. I'm supposed to know that goal and I don't. I do know that the business people are really standing in this year. They're coming up, and if you are a small business, mom and pop, or whether you're a national corporation, you reach out to the Salvation Army, ask for Duke, and they will get you to the right guy. But this is a community event, and you're right, Steve. That's the big one. That's the first weekend of December, if I remember right.
Well, we're looking forward to being it there, and keep up the great work. And we'll see you all next week for the Pat Sullivan Welcome Home Party.
And Steve, before we let you go, I know you're in security. I just want to make sure that we're all safe. Are we all safe, brother?
We are all safe, and always remember: if you see something, say something.
Yes, sir. There we
that's
go.
good.
You're the best, buddy. You take care of yourself.
Okay, bye.
Steve is really a patriot. If you ever get the chance to talk to him, he has a wealth of knowledge about so many things. But I tell you what, somebody else who's a wealth of knowledge, and we don't really think about him, is our sponsor, Michaelis. You can't believe all the things these people do. Last week we were talking about mold and mildew. This week we're going to be talking with Nathan Traylor. Hey, Nathan, how are you?
Denny, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Life's good, man. It's going to get a little bit rainy the first 2 days here, Saturday and Sunday. But after that, it looks like we got a great week coming at us. But what's that mean to my foundation, boss?
Well, as you know, we've had all this rain that's been going through, and the thunderstorms are great. But as everyone knows, it keeps the gardens and crops alive. But as obviously, foundations come in various types, and Michaelis handles everything from brick, block, poured walls. The common denominator with the failure with all these foundation types is water. And as water enters the soil, it creates hydrostatic pressure with our clay system. Unfortunately, nothing lasts forever. That can create that water intrusion, bowing walls, along other issues in your basement and crawl spaces both. Fortunately, homeowners, they have Michaelis. Being a business as a family-owned company for over 40 years, we have a dedicated team that handles everything from issues from your foundation. It doesn't matter if it's water intrusion, any type of biological, framing, sub pump failure. We can handle it all, and including radon. A lot of people don't know that about our company. So we're here. We're stocked and ready to go. We're busy. We've got crews on standby, and we are ready to help and serve our community right now.
Just so people know, we talk about bowed walls. Let's say that we have a basement wall that's bowing in from hydrostatic pressure or whatever. Mm-hmm. What in the world do you guys do? I've seen that they drill a hole through the wall, but what are they drilling into? How do they pull that wall back? What are they doing?
There's a variety of different options, and a lot of that really comes down to the type of wall system that you have. If it's brick, you're really kind of limited. You probably have to rebuild that wall, unfortunately. If it's a CMU block or cinder block, as everyone calls it, we can put in carbon fibers, we can put in earth anchors, just something to try to pull that back and stabilize that wall from preventing that. The biggest problem is we can do that, and that's kind of a Band-Aid. It's a very expensive Band-Aid because that until you relieve that water pressure heaving against the house, it's not going to course correct and fix itself. So you need to put in an interior waterproofing system. And obviously everyone knows the grading on the outside and the downspouts have a huge impact to that because you don't want that water against the house.
You don't want to just keep recycling it. That's right.
Yeah. You want it to get away and move away because if the phrase in the industry is if it can't dry, it'll die. So you want things to be able to.
Dang, that sounds like a foot fungus. Ugh.
Right?
Yeah.
But we're not medical people. We're just home residential contractors here in commercial, so we don't diagnose it that way. We diagnose it a little differently. But
yeah, well, thanks, Nathan.
Absolutely.
Appreciate having you. And this is Nathan Traylor from the Michaelis Corporation. We're just talking about foundations today, but they work on everything: water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Nathan, thanks for joining us. It's always good to hear from you. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you, Denny, and I appreciate your show, how you manage it. It's a little bit different than Pat being here, but
take your time, Nathan. No, go right ahead.
All right, thanks for the call, Nathan. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Allison, Terry, you guys are awesome. You guys are just it's instead of it being fifth gear, just full throttle down the track, you guys are like third gear driving down the river road, having a great time.
Oh yeah.
Boy. So I'd try to bribe you. How are you fixed for socks and underwear? I don't know. Nathan Traylor from the Michaelis Corporation.
Thank you, Nathan.
It's 844 Fix Indy. Well, we have a new sponsor for In the Weeds segments. It's the lovely ladies and the families of E.F. Marburger, $99.99. Allison Vilra.
You wore them down,
I wore them down. Kim and Kelly, and they're the fourth generation.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
In the Weeds. Here we go. And today it's going to be like last week. Everybody's going to participate. We've all got different questions to ask.
Oh.
We won't run you down.
He just handed it to us, by the way.
Yeah. I'm looking through it.
Yeah,
all right.
You've actually had a few minutes.
I'm going to start off, and I'm going to give you a list of 3 animals, and you tell me which one that can hold their breath the longest. Okay?
Which can hold their breath the longest?
The longest.
Okay.
A whale, a dolphin, or a sloth. Who can hold their breath the longest?
I'm going to say...
It's between the dolphin and the whale.
I'm going sloth.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's probably the sloth.
It is the sloth.
Yeah.
40 minutes. A sloth. They slow their heart rate down. They can hold their breath for 40 minutes.
I believe that They can be pretty slow.
Gosh,
it's pretty amazing.
I love them.
Yeah.
I
Have you
love
ever
them
seen them
so
just
much.
try to reach for something?
Oh,
Yeah.
with
It takes 5
and
minutes.
the claw, the big claw,
Yeah.
the big claw coming at you.
They're so sweet.
They are so beautiful, but I'm told they could really get you.
They can really.
With
They're
that
sharp
claw.
claws.
Have you
Yeah.
ever
That
seen
claw can
a
just
sloth mother and her tender? They are so tender
Precious.
to that child.
Same thing with koalas. Do you have any koala questions?
Koalas can be mean. I don't
Don't they
know.
always
Next
treat you
year.
like
All right,
Okay.
Landon, you're up next. What question do you have for us, Landon?
All right. What is a flock of ravens also known as?
A flock of ravens?
Yeah.
A murder.
No, that's a murder of crows.
Oh,
Yeah, that's crow.
thought I got it.
That was going to be my guess, too.
I have no idea. A squad?
Slaughter.
It's
Slaughter. I
think
like
of it,
that.
Slaughter would actually be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Of
I can
crows.
give you a hint. I mean, it's kind of like, I guess it kind of involves like an emotion. I kind of just said it again.
Repetition?
What?
A repetition of ravens?
Oh no, I was gonna say unkindness.
Unkindness.
Is
That's
a
what they're
flock
called?
of ravens.
A flock of ravens is called unkindness. They're also known as a conspiracy, which is equally creepy.
I like the conspiracy one. That
I
would
do
make
too.
sense.
That
to
sounds
me.
like a
Conspiracy
Birds
makes more
movie
sense.
thing.
Online, there are a lot of people that have the most beautiful raven tattoos you've ever seen in your life. I mean, I don't know what made me go down that rabbit hole, but I've looked at a lot of
You're
them.
trying to
get-
train some ravens, aren't you?
Crows.
Oh, crows. Oh, sorry.
Because crows bring you presents.
Are crows and ravens different?
Oh, yes.
Different, but not
Really?
really kind of the
All right,
same.
Allison
look
Lemons,
similar.
what do you got for us here this morning?
What do I have? Where is the world's largest national park located?
Oh,
World's national.
in the world?
The world's largest
Oh, the world's
national
largest
park.
national park.
Australia.
Florida?
That is not.
Arizona.
The world's largest national. It's our country national.
No,
The world.
International. International park. Okay.
The whole
I'm so sorry.
world.
All right.
Anybody and everybody.
Australia.
You said Australia, Florida,
Where
The
Canada.
I'm
Netherlands.
thinking like Yellowstone. That's the only one that's coming to my mind.
Greenland.
Really?
Greenland.
There's a
all
lot
cold
of
there.
weird facts people don't know. Northeast Greenland National Park is the world's largest island. It's a remote national park, and it's 375,000 square miles.
Dear Lord.
Oh, I bet it's
I
fantastic.
bet
Wow.
it's beautiful.
What's funny about Greenland is it's all ice, and what's funny
They
about
did that on
Iceland,
purpose.
it's all green.
Green, yeah.
Yeah,
so
I think it was the Vikings that did
the
that on
Vikings
purpose.
did that to us. All right, Terry Lynn, have you got a question for us?
Before toilet paper was invented, Americans used what?
Sears catalog.
They did, in fact, but even more so with
the
this
ink would
particular item.
smear.
I think that this is relevant right now since it's a state fair. I'll let you know that they used to use corn cobs.
Ouch.
They sure did.
So
the,
corn,
the shucked,
and
the
then-
shucked cobs.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
corn husks.
They would use periodicals like the Farmer's Almanac, which was designed with a hole so it could be hung in the outhouses.
get out of here. Really?
Wait, say that one more time.
They would use the Farmer's Almanac, and the Farmer's Almanac had a hole in it,
Came
so
with
it
a
could be
hole?
hung. Yeah, so it could be hung on your outhouse. So you could, after you read it, you'd
So
take
you're
a sheet.
So you go to the toilet.
Yeah.
You read about the farmer stuff. Then
But
you
even
use it.
before that,
Hey,
it
honey,
was
I
corn
just did
cobs.
the July horoscope. I hope you read it first. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. All right, Jack.
That's a good
That is a
one.
good one, Terry.
I like that one too.
Okay.
Thank you, Denny.
Yeah, what have you got?
This might be one of the most British things I've ever heard. So, British military tanks were equipped to make what during battle?
Oh, to make.
It was
Tea.
We was going to say something like.
Allison.
Yeah.
Great job. It was tea.
Was it really?
Yeah, there's a boiling vessel inside so that the crew can make tea and coffee anytime, including during battle.
Did they have an oven so they could make biscuits?
Maybe they came prepared, little shortbread
The
tin.
British.
You just said it was very British, so I just assumed it was tea. That's hilarious.
Keep,
Priorities. You know, if I
Well,
were to
no,
make a
that's
boat,
when you think of
I would want an
British.
espresso machine.
get back on
Right.
the road. We're making tea.
Yeah,
All right, so I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
that was a
I think
good
we
one,
got
Jack.
we got time for one more. What does OK stand for? What does OK stand for? What does it mean?
Oh, when you just spell it out,
Yep.
OKAY.
What does it, where does it come from? I guess is what I'm saying. What is OK from?
How old is it?
1830s.
1830.
They jokingly came up with OK as an abbreviation for what word?
I don't. Well,
Croquet.
Croquet.
You're playing croquet.
It's
and just
all
like,
correct,
it's okay.
which is funny. It turned into oral correct, which I think that's kind of funny. It must have been Dutch or something.
One
but
more time.
that's
Say it again, Tenny.
Oral correct.
Are you doing it with an accent?
Well, I think
Are you
it's.
having a
I think
medical
it's.
problem?
I think it's. Yeah.
I don't.
I'm
is
like,
your tongue,
I think
is your tongue swollen?
No, it means all correct, but I think it's Dutch. Oral correct.
So okay derives from Dutch meaning all correct.
Yeah, right. And they went at the other okay.
That's really in the weeds.
The other okay was Martin Van Buren, was known as Old Kinderhook, and they called him okay. One of the presidents they called okay. All right, Allison, you want to do one more?
Oh, sure.
Can I do one more? I have a really good one.
Go,
on
Jack.
here.
Go for it.
Okay, so this is kind of an odd one. Seems like American Horror Story. Researchers once turned a live cat into a what?
Oh, gosh.
I don't want to know about this.
The cat was not harmed, but it did pave the way for cochlear implant developments.
So they made the cat deaf?
No.
Huh?
They turned the cat into a communication device.
A telephone?
A telephone.
Shut up. Shut up.
It says Princeton researchers took out a cat's skull and most of it.
And it wasn't harmed? Where did you get this?
You just
guys.
what?
Piece of its skull was taken out, but it was not
Most of
harmed.
it's frayed to connect the animal to electricity, but they spoke into the cat's ear, and the sound could be heard through a phone receiver in another room.
So, like, if the phone rings, they just go like, meow, 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 meow.
But you know
Hey,
what?
Chester, come here.
In this particular instance, look what it's done.
Was
I
it
mean, that's
rotary?
that cochlear
Wow.
implant's huge.
Yeah.
Life changing for
It
a lot of
is.
people.
That is absolutely.
So, probably the cat maybe got hit by a car. And so they went to pick it up and thought, well, we can make some use of this cat.
Yeah, let's make a
I
telephone.
promised Dana that we would get to her phone call.
Oh, is this Dana, the magnet fishing
I'm not
female?
sure it is. Dana, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good?
I have a question about my lilac bush.
Okay.
It seems to be dying. It bloomed every year. Very lovely. It's about 12 years old, but the leaves are turning brown. The whole bush is turning brown. Didn't used to do that until the first frost.
All right. Did you get any blooms at all?
Oh, many, yes, many.
Okay, so this might be just a phase. Jack, what do you
So
think?
I think
Lilac
it
bush?
does. If you had a good amount of blooms, the shrub looked nice and healthy up until it started to get a little hotter out. When they're done blooming, they do kind of start to show that summer stress. So you'll get some of that yellowing and browning. Are you getting that color, the browning on the inside, or are you getting it more on the tips?
Almost all the leaves are turning brown.
Okay.
That might be an overspray. Have they sprayed your yard recently for
No.
weeds? All right. You're not going to make this easy on us, are you, Dana?
Should I fertilize it with some 12-12-12 or something
Maybe.
like that?
I might hold off. So if it is looking stressed, fertilizing can have it, just be stressed a little bit more, forcing growth when it doesn't need it. I would say, if anything, wait till next spring, and then check that it's not getting too wet. That area doesn't have any standing water.
Dana, you might want to also go down to the canes, and you can trim out maybe 20% of the canes. Dick always taught us to trim out a third this year, a third next year, and a third the following year. But in this sort of situation, it probably needs to husband some of its resources. So you might want to sporadically, nip out some of those canes down below.
I have. I after the blooms were done, a couple weeks after the blooms were done, I did trim it, and I cut all the small suckers that were coming up at the bottom, and I cut them away.
Well, Dana, obviously, we've given you what we got, but I will ask you this. Do you know why so many lilac bushes are planted in the backyards?
No, I have no idea.
Because that's when they ever moved the outhouse and they had the big hole and it was stunk so bad, the lilac tree put out this beautiful aroma and everybody planted one or two lilac trees where the old hole was for the outhouse. That's why there's all the lilac trees in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry we couldn't help you more. About everything we came up with, he'd already tried. But our number, 317-239-9393. You're listening to the Home and Garden Show. Landon Coons is taking your phone call, 317-239-9393, right here on 93 WIBC. A little bit of John Cougar Mellencamp. I've got the cousins in studio with me. Every time the mics go down, these three start talking like they're at a family reunion and they haven't seen each other for months. Allison Lemons, Terry Lynn Stacy, and Jack Phipps. You guys are really something. I love the way you work with each other and talk with each other. Before we get to Jack telling us about Yellow Jackets, I want to remind everybody that if you've ever wanted to do beekeeping, there's a beekeeping school on Saturday, November 9th at the Boone County Fairgrounds. Now, that's just right off of 65 as you're going north. It's the first exit there by Lebanon, the Boone County Fairgrounds. If you can get by there, it's called Hoosier Beekeeping School. Facebook page is going to be coming on this week, as well as an email address, and it's for homesteaders and literally everybody. You can actually have bees in neighborhoods. You just have to follow certain rules. All the levels from beginners, teaching sustainable, successful beekeeping in Indiana. It's called the Beekeeping School. Take advantage of it. Watch out for it. I'll try to announce it again next week once we get the Facebook page up. Be a lot of fun. And speaking of bees and stinging insects and things that make us miserable sometimes, Jack, you did all this research on Yellow Jackets.
I did.
Spill your guts, buddy. What's
some
going on?
firsthand, quite a bit of supplementary online. But just as you may expect, Yellow Jackets are the mean, vicious bugs we all know them to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
well, I mean, really, is there not anything good about them?
No, so they are beneficial bugs in that they're predatory bugs. So I guess they're going for some of those bugs that we don't necessarily care to have around. And so their primary diet would be, soft-bodied insects and fruit, so like sugary sources.
I'd rather have those around than the Yellow Jackets, I think.
Yeah.
So these are Yellow Jackets I'm talking about.
I mean, I'd rather have their food that they're quote-unquote destroying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And helping the environment.
Soft-bodied insects.
I'd rather just have that than...
But I have at our house they built a beautiful paper, I've learned, nest, and it is created by cicada killers. Is that what they're called? Obviously, they've killed a cicada or two.
That's a wonderful tease, Terry. We're going to be talking about that in the next hour.
Yeah.
About cicada. Oh,
Cicada
right now we're
killers.
just specifically doing
Talking
this
about
one.
Yellow Jackets.
So we're talking
Only
about
focusing on the yellow jacket.
Yellow Jackets right now.
So
Okay.
Yellow Jackets are more of a
Denny's shaking
social
his head,
bee
yes.
or a social insect versus the cicada killer is more of like a solitary. But the Yellow Jackets can have a nest above ground, below ground. In either way, if they're
Are they like
stored.
honeybees? They have a queen?
They do. So they have a queen, and the queen is overwintered. It's the only one that makes it through the winter, but when she comes out...
She's all by herself?
She is.
How does she stay alive and the others don't?
Well, everybody else has spent
Does
the
she
rest
throw
of their
everybody
life
out of the house? Does
So
she say
she
everybody you
overwinters
go? She overwinters
in the nest.
and everybody
she-
else has got to go.
Yeah.
Well, what
They
kind of
just don't
life is
make it
that?
back.
Well, everybody's hatched out at that point.
Hatched out meaning
They've all got out of their cells. The queen's all by herself.
They've grown. They've flown out. So most of the...
they don't stay together as a family?
Nope.
So they do up until end of fall as we get closer to winter. And then the hive has built up so much energy, over the course of the season that now she's able to kind of lay more of those queen eggs.
When can she lay her eggs again? Is she doing some heeing and sheeing? Has she lost her last male? What's she doing there?
She is. So towards the end of the season, she's done her mating the females that have hatched to, help fertilize those new queens.
That's the only reason they have males, right?
It is.
Yeah.
The rest of the work's done by the women.
Oh, boy.
Wow. That's amazing. That is an amazing creature.
It's a nasty creature.
But they're very aggressive. They look
but
out
they're
for
here
each
for
other.
something. God created them for something.
Eating soft-bodied insects and fruit.
Yeah.
Well,
And sugary drinks.
I know, but just think about their life. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
How it works and how it's all, how there's just, there's
And
a
it's
queen
so
and everybody
interesting.
else.
So you'll see them on a lot of trees that have like a scale infestation. They drop that honeydew, and because they like that sugary substance, you'll see them flying around. So a lot of times that can be an indicator too that you have a ongoing insect, some type of problem with your tree. If you're seeing those yellow
That's just
jackets
amazing.
come.
The only one that makes it over winter is the queen.
The queen.
And so she has to make the new nest and start laying eggs.
In just a matter of 40 days, larva can mature to a full adult working female. And
how big are the nests? Now, I got them in my attic once, and it took me forever to get them out. But
so they don't. I know if they can overwinter in a warmer climate, down like in Georgia, they can get huge. We're talking, watermelon sized. Here, I don't think
watermelon sized.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
the nest?
Oh,
watermelon.
Here, I don't think
the
you
queen
get it.
gets to watermelon size. That's terrifying.
Jack, I think you've lost control of this.
did.
Yeah. We went from yellow jackets to killer watermelon bees. Yeah.
I thought because the Georgia climate was so good, she just eats and eats.
She eats all the peaches and grows and grows.
But if you do have a yellow jacket problem, you need to take care of it. A yellow jacket trap works
I
great.
tell you what, I shouldn't do this, but real quick. Hey, Kenneth, you got 30 seconds. Real quick.
are
What do
you
you got
almost
about yellow
over?
jackets?
I've been battling them right now. Actually, they're trying to get in between my brick and the windows, and I've been using Dawn dish soap. I bought a thing that you like for a car wash, and you have like a little 8-ounce thing of Dawn dish soap that you put on the bottom, and it mixes it and it blasts them, and it's actually kind of
There
fun.
you go. See, there
Oh
you
my
go.
God.
Kenneth, I'm sorry we're up
It's-
against
it's
it.
fun.
It's the Home and Garden Show, 239-9393 on WIBC. Yep. It's the Pepper Ladies. Back for a third visit here on the Home and Garden Show. The very famous Tiny Ike, who was a roller derby princess, queen, bomber. You had a stripe hat, didn't you, Tiny?
I had what?
You had a stripe hat, which means you could either be a jammer or you could be a
Yes, I could do
blocker.
both.
Yeah, you can do what. And then Jenny Lambert, they are the Pepper Ladies of Hamilton County. They joined us a couple years ago, and really, you lit the place up, gals.
Well, thank you. We keep coming back, and I have a theory that if we keep feeding you, we can keep coming back.
Boy, she just got the
That's a
secret
good
of radio.
theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works. That works. All right. So, Jenny, I'll go to you first. First of all, you've got an ornery shirt that we can't even talk about on air, but you caught me off guard with that. What special hooch do you have?
I love
Today I brought peach salsa.
Hold on just a second. There we go.
That's funny.
There we go.
I brought peach jalapeno salsa. So the peaches are from my garden, the jalapenos are from my garden, and it recommends using it on graham crackers to try it.
For sweet or
Sweet and savory.
sweet and savory?
Yeah.
All right, don't wink at me because I know what this stuff does to me, okay?
It's not that hot.
It's not that hot.
No.
I do just want to mention, as soon as they took the lid off of those salsa containers, the whole room just smelled.
Can you smell it?
Oh, yeah. The second they
I
took
can't
it
smell
off.
squat.
Oh, that smells so good, though.
It does.
All right. Well, all right. Now, Tiny, we'll get you hooked up here in just a second. Tell me what special hooch you have brought in.
Well, I brought in a lot of things. So one of them I just made this morning. I made a fresh pico de gallo. So it has tomatoes.
That means bird beak or chicken beak, by the way. Did you know it?
I did not
Pico
know
de
that.
gallo. Gallo is a chicken or a rooster, and a pico, it means it's the bird beak.
Well, I did grab a chicken out of my backyard.
You did.
So it's just tomatoes, red onion, jalapenos, lime juice, and that's pretty much, and cilantro.
All right. And so are you just putting this on chips? Or you put the graham cracker really sounded like a good idea, Jenny, but what do you put it on?
So we're going to put this on lime flavored chips because it has a better flavor profile.
Yeah. Oh, profile.
Profile. Yeah, we'll talk about
Now, do you
profile
lift
a
your
few
tiny?
times.
Do you lift your little finger when you eat your chilies?
I do because I'm pretty fancy.
All right. So before we start sharing this wonderful, wait a minute. I see chocolate. What do we got there?
You do see chocolate. So this is something I was thinking, like, what could I give you that you've never had before? And I really like to experiment while I'm using hot peppers. And so I've never made this before. And I said, how can I kill Denny?
Oh, God. Are you related to Pat? Oh, golly.
And it tastes sweet.
There we go.
So the last time I came, I brought some peanut brittle that had.
It was to die for. Landon's still talking about that.
Yeah.
And he was only here for that first show.
That was crack. I've never
did
done
you-
crack. I feel like that's the closest thing I could get to crack.
Yeah. And the time before that, I brought some caramels that had.
They had a little bit of a
chili powder
lingering
in it.
bite to them.
Right.
You couldn't get that out of my mouth quick enough.
So this time it's dark chocolate with a dried cherry in it. And then there is some Thai chili pepper that I made, or chili powder that I made. And then some of them have sea salt and some of them don't.
Is this stuff that, Jenny, is this stuff that anybody can make?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, I had never made it before, and I just, one and done, this is what you're eating.
Right. Do you test this out on your husband? And your husband's the one with the tender tummy. He doesn't even like peppers.
Right. I did make him the chocolate cherry chocolates, but I didn't put any chili powder at all on his.
Now, I do have a question. So you grow your peppers, right? You
Yes.
grow your your own peppers. For those of us that are I'm growing just green peppers, okay?
Mangoes.
For the first time, and they've stopped growing. They've gotten to a certain size and they just stopped growing. Is there anything? What am I doing wrong?
What kind
or
of
is
peppers?
it just said green pepper?
Just like a bell pepper?
Like a bell pepper.
Okay, and you planted green bell pepper?
Yeah.
How big are they?
They're as big as maybe like what would that be, like a baseball?
Yeah, I mean that's a decent size.
Is it? Because I've seen some huge. In the grocery store, you get them. They're like
It's a grocery
they're like
store.
2 pounds, 2 pounds.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah, so something that you have to consider is there are so many varieties of green peppers that some are made to grow larger than others. What if you're just buying them from like a local store,
Yeah,
like a
just
Home
some
Depot
seeds,
kind of thing, or they're going to be regular size green peppers.
So look, we've gotten so accustomed when you're in the store that everything is so giant that in real life, if you just throw some seeds out, or then that's the real size of a crab pepper.
That is the regular size
Okay,
of that
then
variety.
I've found success.
Yours are going to taste so much better.
They are.
Because it's right off the vine.
Right. And there's nothing been put on it to preserve it.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful green pepper.
Listen, it's just fun to watch things grow. It's so much fun just to watch, especially vegetables, because sometimes it looks like, oh my gosh, overnight you grew, this big, and it's just they're like you become like kids or something. You love them.
Peppers are so slow growing, though. You guys,
mine grew like
when do you
that.
start? Not real peppers. When you guys start, when do you start, and how long does it take to go to harvest?
I usually start mine in February. But I've got a variety now that takes 4 months after transplant, so I might get a couple peppers off of that plant.
Wow.
So for me, I started mine in January, and my plants are loaded, but they're all green. They won't be good until probably September.
Do you transplant them outside at some point to get into the summer heat?
May.
Yeah.
All right.
Mother's Day is usually the rule of thumb.
That's amazing. That is really
How long
amazing.
have you been doing this?
Oh gosh, at least.
I mean,
Probably
when you were kids, were you growing
30
stuff as
years.
kids?
No, I grew nothing as a child. I started when I moved here, so probably about 16 years ago.
Okay. And
I
just said,
didn't
hey, I
have-
want to try growing some stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the easiest hot pepper? Are jalapenos the easiest to start with?
That's the most common.
I think so. And they're the most versatile too, because you can add a jalapeno to anything and it's not going to bother most people. So, like when I made this pico de gallo today, I kept in mind that maybe everybody doesn't want their mouth on fire.
No. Allison really, the hotter the better for Allison. Okay, that's the way she
That's
rolls.
good to know.
Yeah.
That is incorrect. Yeah, I brought some Prilosec and some acid reflux pills.
Oh my God.
So I am prepared. No, I'm ready. I want to taste it. I just want to be safe.
Do you need to take it ahead of time? I don't know how that works.
I'll take one before and after.
All right,
And
you should
maybe one in
start now.
between.
Yeah, she's the student of Pat Sullivan.
Even the smell in the studio, I'm getting a little nervous, but I'm excited because they are always really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiny Ike and Jenny Lambert, affectionately known as the Pepper Ladies from Hamilton County. I first heard you guys at a Hamilton County meeting, and I thought, these guys got a future in radio. And you were so gracious 3 years ago to come in. But do you do presentations like this on a teaching basis? How you're spreading the word to the Pepper Ladies?
Well, we did a pepper presentation, canning presentation for the Master Gardeners. I'm sure there's some more to come.
We also just did one over by Carmel Junior High. It's called Carmel Plots to Plates.
Plots to Plates.
And anybody that had a plot there could come out and listen to us talk about peppers. And then we walked around and we kind of diagnosed their pepper problems.
Yeah.
And
That's so fun.
Yeah, if you don't know, if you ever do have questions about peppers or anything, there is a Master Gardener hotline.
Helpline, yeah.
Do you happen to know that number?
No, but I'll find it.
We'll look it up.
We'll look it up. But there's very few people who do hot peppers. Most of all, they want to do the easy stuff, which is pepper, just mangoes, what we call green mango peppers. and tomatoes and maybe cucumbers and squash and stuff like that. But peppers is such a long growing season. Most of the gardeners here in central Indiana, they don't have that patience. They just don't have the patience. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. We'll take some of your phone calls, 317-239-9393, 239-9393. What we're going to do, take a quick break. We're going to chow down on some of the hooch that the ladies have brought in. And then we'll be back, and we will give you our comments about, if we can still breathe, we'll give you our comments about some of these treats that they brought in. It's the Home and Garden Show, 239-9393, right here on WIBC. Whew! You ladies don't disappoint. Now, I took a video of Allison. Hopefully, she'll be bold enough to post it.
I got Denny's too.
You didn't put the whole graham cracker in your mouth. Jenny had her pico. Well, yours wasn't pico, Jenny. What was it?
I had peach salsa
Oh,
and then regular salsa.
Hold on just a second. You had what now?
I had peach salsa and then regular salsa.
Now, Allison, you could taste the peach. I just shoved the whole thing in there, and I immediately got heat.
Yeah, I like the peach a lot.
That peach was good and great on a graham cracker, too.
Yeah, I would have never thought of it. That was great.
Yeah.
Now, Tiny, before I proposed marriage, we are not serving those chocolates at the wedding. That's all I'll say.
Oh, I actually it was pretty good.
You like the chocolate with the salt?
sea salt and the what was it? You said Thai pepper, chili pepper?
Dark chocolate. It has a dried cherry in it.
Oh, the cherry. That's what I was tasting.
Yes, and then there is Thai chili powder in there.
Okay.
And sea salt, if that's the kind you chose. Some of them don't have sea salt.
I like the sea salt because I think it balanced it out a little bit.
Ladies,
Denny's.
I got a little bit of one. I think I got it from Jenny. Jenny was a sleeper, but let's talk to George. George has got a question for you. Good morning, George. How are you?
Pretty good, and you?
All righty.
I'd like to ask the ladies about hot banana peppers. This guy down the southwest side used to pickle them in mason jars and bring them into this tavern, and he'd trade it for beer, and then she would sell them. But I've never run into banana peppers that hot. They're hotter than jalapenos. I was wondering if they had a name for that strain.
Well, we'll ask him. Hang on, George. I'm going to put you back on hold and you can listen. But all right, so banana peppers, hot or not?
So they're called hot banana peppers.
Hot banana peppers.
Yes, they have a mild version and they have hot ones. If you just get traditional banana peppers, they taste just like a green pepper, really, a mild green pepper.
Is that what we get on our pizzas?
That is what you get on your pizzas, but what I will tell you is they don't taste like what you get on your pizza unless you can them. Because you add vinegar, you add sugar, you add some
pickle them out. Okay.
Yes, there's other things that you have to add to them to make them taste like that. Otherwise, they just taste like a mild green pepper.
Interesting. All right, so we've talked about jalapenos. We're talking about banana peppers. What are other things do you guys have in the garden going right now?
Well, I have 3 different varieties of Santa Fe, New Mexico peppers that my cousin sent me. And one's really hot. It's called...
Now, Jenny, if you say it's really hot, it just must be smoking.
Well, I mean, it's not as hot as a Reaper, but it's still, I don't want to eat it.
You named a pepper Reaper like the Grim Reaper, that Maiden of Death?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Carolina Reaper.
Is that the hottest pepper of all?
The hottest pepper now is X.
Oh,
this is something I don't know about.
We can't get it.
Yeah,
I've tried.
Not yet.
So you want it?
Yeah.
Oh, of course I want it.
Do you want a seed or a pepper? A seed?
A seed.
Yes.
A seed.
Or you can give me a pepper and then I will save the seeds and then I will have hundreds of peppers.
Do they?
So that sounds like
I just need one.
Are peppers pollinated? I mean, do the bees burn their feet when they're passing the pollen around?
That's a great question, but yeah.
Do they flower?
They do.
They do flower, all right.
Yep.
So there's some heeing and sheeing going on there.
It sounds like that they are constantly trying to get a hotter pepper.
They are.
If this new X thing is out there and they just continue to keep getting it hotter and hotter and hotter.
Yeah, but
is there such a thing as anything hotter?
I don't know. That's the hottest I've heard, but it takes a while to get it stable. So there's a lot of people out there that they'll grow them and it won't quite come true to type because it just hasn't been grown long enough.
Jenny, you know that's how they discuss radioactive isotopes. They're just not stable.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And that's true.
Okay, I genuinely do have a question. So, like, I don't know, do you guys ever watch the Hot Ones videos where the people eat the chicken wings and they get hotter and hotter?
With the hot sauces?
Yeah, the hot sauces. Like, they have something on there that's called, like, a Scoville letter, like meter. What does that mean? And like how, like what's the equivalent to it? Like I genuinely don't know. I don't know if you guys know it either, but
I don't know what the equivalent for the Pepper X Scoville is, but the Reaper is, million.
Yeah, so I grow the Reapers, and
Tiny,
those aren't going to be.
You really are insane.
I really am. I know.
And it's
I know.
a beautiful plant too.
It's a beautiful plant, but when you look at the pepper, it is ugly.
Oh.
Like when you have a really hot pepper, you will know it's going to be really hot typically because it is wrinkled and ugly looking. Like if it scares you to look at it, it should scare you to eat it.
yeah.
That's just a good rule of thumb.
Yeah. Is that the pepper you're showing? Oh, that's the Carolina Reaper. Yeah, that's an ugly one.
Oh, boy.
You're right, it is ugly.
What's the plant look like?
So
See if they show the
the
plant.
plant. Okay, so when you harvest, do you let them dry for a bit? Do you set them out in the sun to ripen a little bit? Do you hang them upside down like the Mexicans that we see in the haciendas?
The Ristras.
The Ristras, right? What do you do with
it
them?
It depends. I mean, if it's a Thai chili, you can let those dry
For
just
years?
out in the air. Yeah. But the ones that have thicker walls, like a bell pepper or even banana peppers, it's too much flesh. In our humidity, it'll mold before it dries.
Oh my gosh.
So I will say with my caramel reapers, I tried letting it dry just naturally. I cut it open and I just let it there. It had so much oil in it that after a whole year, it was not dry yet.
Is the oil hot?
Oh, it's
Very.
extremely hot. Anything that you touch with that type of pepper is going to be so hot that you can't touch it with your hands.
Do you wear gloves while you're preparing food?
I wear 3.
Whoa! Are you crazy woman? You're putting this in your mouth.
Yeah, I
Well-
can understand why you would want to put something like that in your mouth.
Yes.
You have to, of course, dress it up with some other things to tone it down. But you don't even want to cut it in your house because the fumes will just fill your whole house.
So
You know,
in
it's
our
really
house-
hard for us to give you any credence of all of it. You're sane. You wear 3 pairs of gloves, and
Yeah.
then you, like Terry says, and you're still willing to put this in your mouth no matter how you dress it.
Right.
With the caramel reapers, I wear 2 pairs of gloves. I wear a mask
Reapers
and
or
I
Ghost. Caramel Reapers. or
caramel
Ghost?
reapers.
Okay.
I wear 2 pairs of gloves, a mask, and goggles when I'm working with them in general. But we do have family parties where we just slice them up and eat them.
Oh,
No, that's
going
her
to be
side. That's
hurt.
her side of the family. Her husband's side of the
right.
family is
You're
normal.
you're going to cause some real problems down here and there in the throat area, don't you think? I mean,
don't even do
seriously, some
that.
burning, just some real burning,
Have
scarring.
we talked about my cousin's bar in Chicago and what they do there?
No, what do they do
So
there?
every year they have a competition.
Get your hand on the dump button there. Okay.
They have a competition in Chicago at my cousin's bar. It's called Reed's Local. And they say, who can eat more ghost peppers than my uncle? Because my uncle just eats them like candy.
Now that's your wife, your mother's brother.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
What I can say is he has never lost this contest, and people just line up to try and eat more than him.
And how many esophageal transplants has he had?
It would be interesting to look down there.
Yeah, I agree,
See,
Terry.
what's happened in
Yeah,
all
they
the
could
years
use the
of
same
eating
thing
that.
they use for colonoscopies.
Right,
Only,
just
they
the
clean it
other
up
way.
a little bit. That's right.
Right.
Oh my gosh, Jenny, is this in your family too? Anybody else in your family do this nonsense?
Not quite like that, no.
Okay.
No, we're a little more mainstream on the higher level, but not quite that.
Well, the pepper ladies, Jenny,
has a question.
Jenny Lambert, and
I have a
Tiny
question.
Ike.
So
Go ahead,
all this
Jack.
heat, I know there's obviously like a physical reaction. Is there any physical harm being done with that heat, or is it just a passing feeling? Do you know?
Is it just
I
a
would be
passing-
I'm
curious
still alive.
And is it just a passing feeling?
of dying.
So for me, I really don't even feel the heat.
Yeah,
I get the hiccups if it's really hot.
You
but
get the
never any
hiccup.
So-
like physical burning. It's always just
My
like
eyes
a
sweat.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I'm
You
with
guys, you
Jenny.
love this, right?
I do.
live for it.
Live for it.
Do you know there's people that do dangerous things every day? We're
That's
just
right.
doing it
Getting
in the
on
kitchen.
the highway.
Well, the pepper ladies, do you have a website? Do you Facebook? If people want to reach out to you, how do they find you?
Well, I guess we'll
I guess
about
just
that.
become a master gardener.
Yeah, that's the best way through the Hamilton County Master Gardener Association.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Or-
would try. Well, yes.
You could have us back again.
Oh, we'll have you back.
That's a great idea.
You see, Pat's got the tender tummy, so whenever Pat's gone, that's normally when I bring you in. Pat's got a tender tummy, and Allison, you dug right in there. I was impressed. You know,
Well, for now. Check in with me in 15 minutes. But so far, everything's been okay.
I still have to do the pico, but Jack's got the chips corralled over there. Ladies, thank you.
Thank you.
You really,
Thank you.
The Pepper Ladies of Hamilton County Master Gardener Association. By the way, wrinkles are something that other people have. I tend to say that they're similar to my character lines. But those wrinkles that come from peppers are unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tiny Ike and Jenny Lambert, thank you. You will always be welcome back here. We got to have you back once a year anyway.
Before Christmas, this stuff was, I bet they make some great Christmas gifts.
Stocking
You could come back and craft with us.
We do.
Pepper soap?
Yeah, pepper soap.
Oh.
I don't know that I want that.
Rub it all over your body.
Your throat, not on your skin. That's weird.
Maybe we stick with the chocolates and the caramels.
Oh, great.
I don't know. I think it's worth testing.
I think it's worth testing. Ladies, thank you for joining us here on the Home and Garden Show. You're the best. It is brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. The Pepper Ladies, brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. The hot stuff. Water storms, fire and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. You give us a call, 317-239-9393, right here on 93 WIBC. This is a song by Phil Vassar. Wrote a lot of songs for Tim McGraw. And in my next 30 years, if you remember that song. But this one is about just being an American and growing up in the great USA. Only the Pepper Ladies could come from the great US of A.
I feel like you're getting choked up for the song, or just the fact that you
mostly peppers.
Yeah.
Jenny, I had some of Jenny's peach stuff. That was just really good stuff.
So let's go over everything we've had.
All right, I think I like the chocolates. I know I howled like a dog.
Dark chocolates, but it had her Thai chili pepper on it.
Yes, okay.
I'm catching the listeners up.
Right, and then
part of my
Jenny
radio
Lambert brought in this
experience.
peach pico de gallo, this peach salsa that she gave to me on a graham cracker, which was really sort of nice. Now, Jack,
Really
you've sort of cabbaged onto those lime chips down there.
Yeah, I think any vessel to get that pico de gallo, into my mouth a little faster, I'll enjoy.
It's taken 3 years.
Nice little shovel.
But I think these ladies have won me over.
Yeah.
I'm so used to bland. Every once in a while I'll put some Jalisco, which is like a Spanish salt or a Mexican salt that's got some bite to it.
Yeah.
But
that's one thing we didn't mention, but we did try a fresh slice of tomato with that. What kind of pepper salt did we have on there?
This was a flavorful pepper salt. It has a Sugar Rush peach.
Yes.
And I need to look it up.
Sugar Rush
That
peach.
was awesome. I could imagine putting that literally on just about
Do
it.
you realize
absolutely.
We sound like drug addicts. We've got different things for a hit. Sugar Rush. Boom. Yeah.
Well, they do say that heat is like a high. People chase it to get the high they get from eating that
Look
heat.
at Terry Lynn Stacy over there. Terry, you're still eating. The segment's over. I tell you what, if you want to get in touch with the ladies, you send me an email to denny@wibc.com. Many of you got my cell phone number. Text me. I will try to get you in touch with them through the Hamilton County Association. But this is part of the Master Gardener program. These ladies went through Master Gardener just like a lot of us did. And you get to specialize. You can go to roses or you can go to peppers. And, I have to admit the peppers is on the galvanic scale. It's way off to the left, but you're doing it. All right. You guys ready to get back? Taking some phone calls. Let's talk to Brad now. All right, Brad, how are you, sir?
Good morning. I love this show. I always love it. I saw a documentary. There's a type of hornet. I don't know if it's yellow jacket. It will attack a beehive to eat them, and the bees will surround the hornet and vibrate and create heat and literally burn it up. The problem is if the hornet leaves, they do just like the honeybees do. The honeybees will come back and do that dance or whatever to show the other bees where the flowers or whatever is. The hornet, if it escapes, if one of them escapes and gets back to where they live, they'll bring all the hornets with them and decimate the honeybee hive. So the honeybees on the documentary I saw surrounded the hornet, they vibrated, and they literally burn it up so that it can't escape.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So I just thought I'd throw that in there.
You're just a bluebird of happiness there. I'm telling you.
Well, I have no idea what kind of hornet, if it's a yellow jacket or not. I saw it on Nature or some documentary, and I thought it was really fascinating.
Yeah, there's defenses for everything.
Yeah, they're amazing creatures.
One of my old partners just wrote to me, and he says, remind everybody about our partner who ate a ghost pepper and ended up pooping his pants. He thought he was really tough, and he was in front of us. And next thing he knows, his lower GI let loose because of the ghost pepper. But it was talked about in the financial circles for months. You know, thanks,
now,
Vinny.
everyone,
never left him.
Thanks, Vinny, for
all our
letting me
listeners know.
Yeah, that's right.
What was his name again?
The name of the guy did. I'll tell you, his name was Eric. I'll put it right out there.
You act like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's like it's a
compliments to the chef, really.
Yeah.
239-9393. We missed Angelo. Angelo couldn't hold on any longer, but we can talk to Donna, and I'm going to need your help on this one, Jack. Go ahead, Donna.
Good morning. This is the first time I've called, but I have a sweet gum tree, and it's a beautiful shaped tree. But last fall I noticed, and this year the top half is thinner. There's not as many leaves. Is there something that I should be doing to the tree?
What color are the leaves? Are the leaves yellowed out, or are they still green?
No, they're green, yeah.
They're green. I don't know, Jack. Is it a new tree or an old tree? It could be a girdled root, Jack.
I was just going to say, if it seems like the growth at the top is almost a little stunted, my guess could be that it is, have a big root starting to girdle or kind of wrapping around the trunk.
Do you know what that means, Donna?
No.
Okay. Jack, go slow for her. What is a girdling root?
The roots...
Well, first of all, let's start. Donna, you know what a girdle is, right?
Right.
It's really tight and miserable. All right.
So a girdling root would be one that kind of grows around the trunk and almost starts to constrict on there because it's growing in such like a tight kind of coiled fashion. Unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do to kind of mitigate that, but fertilizing would certainly help. And if you're able to have somebody kind of prune back just the top to trim it a bit, you'll get a lot more growth to come up and kind of remedy that stunted growth up top.
What kind of fertilizer would I use for that to make sure?
We just always recommend using Tree Tone. It's TREE Tone. It's just one of those tone products from Espoma, but it's organic and works really well on things here in Indiana.
Jack, when you're trimming a girdled root, you just cut it as best you can? Do you go longitudinally? Do you go sideways? It's just trimming the root and getting it out of there, right?
Yeah, sometimes I'm afraid to get to, if you have a big root that you're trying to cut, it's almost like you don't know if it's the biggest capillary, on the surface for that tree.
Right.
But typically it would just be kind of a nice clean cut.
Donna, have you got a good pair of pruners?
I need a better one.
You need a better one. All right. Do you have tree loppers, the ones with like the 2-foot handles? Do you have tree loppers?
Yeah, 2-foot handles.
Yeah,
yes.
those might be the best if you go after it. And if you want to take a picture of it and send it to me, I'll forward it on to Jack, and we'll sort of coach you through how to do it. Because
absolutely,
it's like brain surgery. If you've never done it before, you're afraid you're going to kill the patient. You probably won't, but we can at least tell you where to start. Okay.
Okay. So where do I send this then?
To Denny. Do you do email?
Yes.
All right, Denny, DENNY at WIBC.com.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Donna, thanks for listening to the show. Okay.
It's a great show.
Hey, I tell you what, call back next week and tell Pat that it was a good show. Okay. That's what Donna, thank you for your phone call. 239-9393. I had, do you ever get these things where what kids describe other things like? This is from a kid. What is dust? Are you ready? This is from a kid's definition. It's mud with the juice squeezed out. Now, isn't that good?
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Kids
that makes sense.
Yeah. Here's another one. Mosquitoes. A mosquito is an insect that makes you like flies better.
Okay, fair.
I just love it. And I'm getting lots of emails about your yellow jackets, buddy.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, no one likes them.
Nobody likes them, and I can't say as I blame
And
them.
they do get a little more aggressive in fall, so I'm sure
Yeah.
people are starting to notice a little bit more.
Especially when they're in ground. It's just,
Yeah.
you don't see them till it's
Too late. Have you been stung recently?
Not recently, but man, we a couple summers ago, my dog would not go to the bathroom in the backyard, and she wouldn't leave the patio, and we were like, "That's weird." And so it was probably a week or two, and then we were cutting grass, and we could hear some buzzing on below. She knew right away that this whole area was just covered underground with yellow jackets.
Landon was telling us that he used to mow grass and that he got nailed. The thing, if you run over a yellow jacket's nest or any sort of ground hornet nest, if you hit them with a lawnmower, for goodness sakes, leave the lawnmower on top of the hole. They'll keep coming out, and you just shred them as they come out. But as soon as you go on, if you try to run away from them, they're boiling out of that hole. Did you get nailed that way?
Oh, I got nailed that way, but like at the time, like I didn't think of like putting it over.
I wouldn't either.
ladder there.
The thing you would think.
Yeah, that was the last thing I was thinking of, because I was trying to like
Stay put,
stay alive. But like I saw something on TikTok, and I don't know how true this could actually work, but I mean, it seems like it's kind of foolproof. But if people want to get rid of like small like wasps or hornets nests, they take like a small cup of like gasoline and they hold it up to them and they just drop. Like
they don't even light it.
They just it's just a cup of gasoline. They put it right up to the small nest, and you just see them in there, and then they just drop straight down.
I've not heard that.
I'll have to show you.
How about you
Kids-
try, Landon, and you let us know?
Kids, don't try this.
If I come back swollen next week, you'll know what
That's
happened
right.
to me.
Hey, Jack, I'm going to need some help. One of the things that I've never really done well is roses. But Brenda's got some questions about roses. How are you, Brenda?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. What's up?
So we put a pool in about 20 years ago, and we were on a hill. So instead of a retaining wall, they told us to put some plants with roots to like hold that side up. It wasn't like our pool is going to fall into the lake or anything, but so we planted Rose of Sharon, which was about 7 plants, and now 20 years later, there's 100 of them, and they are sprouting up everywhere, like right next to the house, and and we have thousands now of little sprouts.
Yeah.
How do we get rid of that?
So, unfortunately, Rose of Sharon tends to be a very messy tree. And once those blooms are done, they'll put out new blooms every day. And when that bloom's done, it'll turn into 5 or 6 seeds. And they can very readily drop those seeds. And that's what you see kind of sprouting up from the bottom.
It was a good choice for erosion control, but you've got to stay after it.
Great choice for erosion control, but mowing those little suckers down with the lawnmower, if you can get in there. I wonder if Preen would take care of that for any
for future. Yeah, it would.
So
It'd lay down a chemical.
If you were to clean that up, clean up that area. This fall, you could use Roundup to kind of kill back some of those seedlings. And then a good layer of Preen in the spring would keep any of those new seeds from germinating.
There we go. Thanks for your call. Brenda, I had to take you down because of the noise in the background. But if you've got any other questions, you reach out to us, Denny at WIBC.com. Jack was real helpful last week. We got a couple of inquiries. I fired him off to him. He got right back. So we'll do our best to still help you any way we can. Got more of your calls. Chris is up next, then Sandy. Our number is 317-239-9393, 239-9393, right here on WIBC. The Home and Garden Show is alive and well. We miss our buddy Pat. He's in Greece right now, and he'll be back.
Oh, what did those pepper people do?
You just broke the microphone
Peter
off.
Piper picked a pepper.
Is it still working?
That was Tiny's mic.
Terry's mic just fell off. That's really sort of cute. That you're going to have to unplug the mic before you start twisting. Well, this is sort of funny. I'll blame it on Tiny. Tiny was in roller derby, and she broke her microphone.
She sure
That's
did.
amazing.
You know who the other one did that broke headphones every time they came in?
Who was that?
The guy from Casey and the Sunshine Band. Casey.
Really? What, his head was so big?
His head was so big.
Wow.
It probably still
hilarious.
is.
Oh,
But
I
every
used to-
time he sat down and put headphones on, they would just explode.
Oh, my goodness.
Giant head.
That's embarrassing.
Like a watermelon.
We really do thank the
Or
Pepper
kinda
Ladies,
cool.
Tiny Ike and Jenny Lambert. They brought in some good treats. I have
They sure did.
Thinking back, I was a little bit harsh on the chocolate. It got me all of a sudden, but really, it didn't have the serious afterburn. There was that little dried cherry in the inside.
Yeah, such a sensitive tongue.
Yeah,
Your tongue is very sensitive.
I know. So is my feelings. Let's talk to Sandy. Hi, Sandy. How are you?
Great. How are you all this morning?
Well, we're a little bit lit up. The girls from Hamilton County left us with some hot stuff, and my eyeballs are sweating.
We're fine.
We're fine. Yeah.
We loved
Thank
it
God.
over here on this side of the room.
Yeah. What you got for us, Sandy?
My question is, I have taken out boxwoods, and I'm replacing them with Big Daddy hostas. And do you have any planting tips? I realize this is late in the season, and my concern is deer and also planting this late in the season.
All right, before I turn this over to Jack, we've pulled out boxwoods and we're going to put in hostas. Now, this is what Landon, the man who took your call, said. Sandy has a question about planting hostesses.
I cannot for the life of me do how to spell. That was my bad.
Sandy, I didn't know what to expect when you.
Are we talking
like
Twinkie? Yeah,
I was like, wait,
Or
is it spelled the same?
or like
Snowball.
He really did graduate with general studies, but
That is very true.
Okay, so, what type of hostess do we want to plant for Sandy here?
So that Big Daddy, I believe, is what I heard. So if you're pulling out boxwoods, hopefully they were in part sun, part shade, so that the hostas are going in that same kind of shady spot. And then the boxwoods have probably stripped that soil of every nutrient that was in there. So if you can amend a bit, kind of break up that clay soil. In fertilizing, we always use hollytone when we plant. I think you'd have really good luck with the hostas.
What you don't want to do, Sandy, is you don't want to put typical 12-12-12 type right into the hole. The nice thing about that hollytone is it's so well buffered it can't hurt a juvenile plant.
No, and it just is going to hang out in the ground until that plant's ready to use it.
Yeah, there you go.
What about, I have a root booster that I found, and it's not a brand name product, and I was a little hesitant. It is to help establish a good root system, but I don't want to over-fertilize or do something crazy.
Sandy, I have never seen a root booster that is a name brand. Jack, they're all homegrown type things.
They are.
From these mom and pop.
Bonide might be the biggest brand, and that's still an odd one.
Yeah, so don't worry about it. If they're marketing it in any way, I don't think it can hurt the root ball in any way, and just it's probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah. So if you have that, use it.
And which tone product?
So we plant with biotone, and then we fertilize with hollytone. But biotone we plant with.
Okay. All right. You've been a great help. Thanks
All right,
so much.
go out there and plant those hostesses, okay?
It's so funny.
Get some ding-dongs for us.
Get some ding-dongs for us. I love that.
It's so interesting how so many words like root booster, for some people that aren't in the gardening world, like I go right to Nutrafol.
Yeah.
Or things like, I think there's so many words in the planting world that you could use in other worlds.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I used to say that they used to have some, and I can't remember what the product, but it was supposed to make your fingernails harden and grow a little bit better.
Yeah.
Biotin?
Biotin or something like that, but it sounded like it was for the garden.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Terry Lynn Stacy. My name's
It's my
Denny
contribution
Smith.
for today.
Landon's on the board. Allison
Taking your
has
hostess calls.
stepped in,
Taking
your
your
hostess
hostess
calls. I bet you don't get calls like that on Hammer Nigel, do you?
Gosh. He is so funny.
And Jack Phipps, thank you for coming in again.
Of course.
And you don't have to give Pat back his pass.
No, I thought I might hang on to that.
Yeah, you might be able to duplicate that. There are people if they can duplicate a credit card when they steal them from us.
I can get the
should be.
security pass.
I think we can. Our number is 317-239-9393. Let's get Angelo real quick. Angelo, we only got 30 seconds. What you got?
Throw away the Sears or Penny's catalogs when they're about 1/3 of the way done in the outhouse.
Yeah? Angelo, you probably I actually grew up in an outhouse environment with my grandparents down in Brown County, and it was not anything that I liked. My sister refused to do it. I think Sue would go a long time before she wanted to go out there because of spiders.
We've entered my family has entered the outhouse race in Brown County a few times. It's so
317-239-9393 right here on WIBC.
Well, some folks say that grown-up men are still just little boys, that really the only difference is the price of our toys. We go for macho symbols like guns and running shoes, pickup trucks, hunting ducks, and power tools. Power tools. Power tools. Yeah, you just plug them in the wall and think of all you can do. You can plant a garden, fix your car, build a house if you want to.
We had a pit stop.
If you got the
Terry's mic fell off the suspension. We didn't have anybody from. It's not spinning anymore, Terry. So we had to reattach it, and we'll get the Spitzer valve hooked up to the what's got it, and we'll have her all fixed up here in just a second.
You forgot doohickey.
The doohickeys,
Yeah.
that's right. The quigulator, you got to get all that. Jack Phipps joins us here from Sullivan Gardens, beautiful branch. It's called Allisonville Home and Garden up there. Jack, what's new up there? It's sort of the end of the season. It's before mums, and
it is. But for people that are kind of tired of the annuals they've had all summer, they're getting a little worn and leggy, and they don't want to take the time to rehab. We have so much new fun fall color in.
Okay, I've got a sawtooth buckthorn, or what Pat always calls a lace leaf buckthorn.
Yes.
Beautiful tree, but it just dies a little bit at the time, and it's really hard to prune up. What's a good substitute for a sawtooth buckthorn?
So something like you mean like the fine line buckthorn?
Yeah.
So like a green tower boxwood is nice and upright, but they're going to get a little taller, grow a little slower. Something I love is called a straight talk privet. Gets about the exact same size as that buckthorn.
Yeah. But it's like an old privet hedge?
Yeah, exactly. And it's all upright growth, so it's just straight talk privet.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, it gets about 7 tall, 3 wide.
What do you think about those Japanese lilacs? You turned me on to them because when they bloom,
awesome.
Is that a tall growing tree or is it relatively small?
They're more of like a mushroom shape, but they'll get up to about 20 feet down the road.
For where it is, because it's right in front of the house. That's the famous Jack Phipps. Terry Lynn Stacy. Terry, did you get your mic? You got your
Everything's
microphone
okay.
fixed.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Landon.
Yeah. Everybody needs a pit stop now and then. It's not always going to the bathroom. Allison, the Hammer and Nigel show would not be what it is without you. You know that?
Oh, well, thank you. I think
they're showing
probably
more.
would be.
I know that
about
it's
Hammer
driving
and
you to drink because I see you consuming more during the show.
More.
Yeah, if I had to work with those two, I'd be drinking all the time.
Yeah, it was part of the contract, yeah.
Oh, it's part of the contract?
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord in heaven. Landon, what's new in your life, son? Montgomery County?
I'm just here, man. Here till midnight.
Yeah. Landon's the only guy that will wear a cowboy hat and then put a Colts hat on top of it.
Hey, it's for fashion.
You really looked stupid, son. I'm sorry.
You told me that in confidence.
Okay. All right. Back to the Yellow Jackets. We've got Jeff calling us this morning. Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, Danny, I'm fine.
Good.
Hey, to talk about Yellow Jackets, remember I bought that 79 Triumph Spitfire that's yellow in high school, and then I went to Georgia Tech for a couple of years, so before I enlisted, and I've got the Yellow Jacket emblems on the side.
Oh, boy.
Plates with Y jacket, and the emblem on the front. So I was kind of a big hit down at Georgia Tech, driving a yellow Triumph Spitfire convertible. You know what I mean?
It's a beautiful
so I
car.
kind of liked them all my life. Yeah.
Have you been stung by them? I mean, in the plumbing business, if you're out in the yard and digging, sometimes you surprise them around stumps and stuff.
Well, I told you the story at Lake Lemon where the neighbor asked how to get rid of them, and I've told you this, I think, a couple months ago even, that I told him to pour gas in it, and I never told him to light it. And his wife hated me the rest of my life. He lit it and burned his eyebrows, his hair.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, vasectomies by Jeff. Jeff, you're a great human being. Yeah. When you light gasoline, everything gets destroyed. Okay.
Well,
and if you're on top of it, it's even worse than that. All right, Jeff, thanks for the call. Is that fun or what? Let's talk to Chris.
Well, I don't know if that was fun.
Chris. Yeah. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
It's a fun morning with these folks.
I know. I'm learning all about Twinkie trees and
yeah, that's Landon. That's the Western Indiana high school education.
So funny.
Yeah. What you got, Chris?
Well, I got a question. When I was a kid, we used to fish a lot with catalpa worms, and they were abundant. Every place you go, they was there, and I knew they only come out certain times a year, and catalpa worms was probably one of the best all-around fishing baits that we could get as a kid. Now I'm 50 years old. I own 2 bait shops here in Indiana, and
that's my dream.
One of my most requested baits is catalpa worms.
Right, they're really hard to come by.
I've got a grove of catalpa trees right behind one of my stores. I've got one of the largest catalpa trees in Hancock County right in my front yard. And I have not seen a catalpa worm on any of those trees in years. And I was just curious, what happened to them? Is there some kind of a pesticide that's killed them off? And is there any way of getting them to come back?
Here's what I would do. I would reach out to the folks.
Googling right now.
Yeah, I would reach out to the folks at the Purdue Extension. You might try the Hamilton County Master Gardeners Association, but I don't think we have any real entomologists that would point us in the right direction. Catalpa worms are just fantastic. We used to fish with them too, but I guess I've not seen any because I haven't really been fishing for a long time. And we don't know. I don't have very many catalpa trees around us.
What happened to him, though? I really do wonder now that he's brought it up. I wonder what happened to him. If they're just
guys fished and used them all.
There's a few on the property at Allisonville, but I'm always looking at those trees more closely than I should. But I've never seen a worm.
Never seen the worm. Well, maybe we've gotten rid of them.
Chris, I wonder if they have a natural predator that's getting to them before the fishermen do. I don't know, but they're juicy and they're fat, and the bass love them.
I bet they're extinct.
That down south, a lot of the fishermen are bringing them up from like the Carolinas and down in that area, and they're bringing them up. But you know, I just haven't seen any catalpa worms in years, and that was what I had heard, was that it was a pesticide that had killed them off. And if you look like around railroad tracks and stuff, you always see catalpa trees.
That's right. The great big squiggly old fruit that comes off them too.
And I've been watching for them, and I just haven't been able to find any. And like I said, you know, with owning a couple of bait shops, I get people that come in and, you know, all the time want to know about
I'll tell you what, if anybody does know about the catalpa worms themselves, whether you're with DNR or Purdue University or entomology in any way, reach out to me at Denny at WIBC.com. Chris, if I hear anything, we'll announce it on the show, okay?
Yeah, just call. If you're listening, call.
Yeah, all right, buddy. Well, thanks and good luck. Oh, wait a minute. All right, so what's the biggest seller in a bait shop? Minnows, worms, what are you selling?
Probably minnows right now. We do a lot of minnows. I'm going through probably close to 40, 50 pounds worth of minnows a week, and that's probably one of the biggest sellers that we have right now.
Are you going with shiners? Do you sell shiners? Do you sell the fathead minnows? And where do you get them? Do you get them from Jones Fisheries? Where do you get them?
No, I get them from a supplier that's out towards Terre Haute.
Okay.
And yeah, I sell a lot of the fathead minnows. I got the bass and crappie size ones. I also do sell the shiners too.
Where are you in Hancock County?
I've got a store in McCordsville, and I'm getting ready to open up another one in Greensboro.
What's it called, Chris? We got to give you some love here. What's the name of it?
It's called the Bobber Shop.
The Bobber Shop. Oh my gosh, that's what we call my dad,
who thought of
the
that?
Bobber.
Was it your wife? Who thought of the Bobber Shop?
No, actually, well, it's kind of both. When we first opened our store, the building that we opened up in originally was a barber shop for over 100 years.
Wow.
And the people that were, you know, several generations of barbers decided that they were done. We moved into the place, and the last person that was there before us had gotten kind of upset because she was a dog groomer, and she didn't like people saying, "Oh, you're in the barbershop building," and she didn't like being called a barber because she's a dog groomer. But I mean, honestly, a dog groomer is a barber, you know, for dogs.
That's right. I guess so.
Anyway, we just kind of just ran with that because everybody in town had already called it that.
What do you do in the wintertime? What do you do? What's a bait shop do in the wintertime? You go to Florida?
No, I wish. No, we still have quite a few fishermen that come in, and like last year, we had a little bit of ice, you know, where people go out and ice fishing. And
do you take on do you have any apprentices? Because Terry Stacy's dream is to own a bait shop or a pay lake.
Pay lake.
Did you take on apprentices?
Pay Lake is probably one of the next things that I would be interested in doing. But
There's one out there for sale in Hancock County.
Tell him how much it's worth, Terry.
It's just about it says a lot. More than I have. More than I have.
Oh man, I'll have to work out a partnership.
That might work.
My bait shop,
Chris and Terry.
It's a beautiful bait shop they have too.
Chris,
it's nice.
Thanks for the phone call, buddy. I appreciate you taking time to give us a call. And our number is 317-239-9393. It's the Home and Garden Show, brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. Water storms, fire and wet basements, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. 844-FIX-INDY, and you get on board with us right here on 93 WIBC. Everybody,
I'm pretty good
at drinking beer.
And who is that dedicated to, Denny?
Pat Sullivan.
Oh, boy.
I know. I miss him.
Working a bank.
You know, he gives me more trouble than an old cousin. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Pat is still on vacation. Allison, you're the one that's doing the GPS tracking on him. Where is he right now?
Yeah, I think he's going to come home tomorrow. And then he'll be with us for next week for Egg Fest at Keystone.
At Keystone. That'll be a lot of fun. And by the way, if you're looking for a big green egg and you're not picky about having something brand spanking new, you can get 25% off a one-time used egg, plus 15% off accessories and free delivery. And is that just large and extra large, Allison?
Large and extra large, and I think there's a couple left on the website. You just got to put a $250 deposit down. And if you want to just come to eat the food like we are going to do, tickets are also available online.
Hey, can we invite Jack?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jack, why don't you come?
I think I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll make Pat give you a free pass too.
Deal.
We'll
make it work.
We'll make it work. Hey, before I forget, we did this in the 9 o'clock hour. I want to wish Linda Alley, a WIBC alum, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Linda. We're not going to tell them how many, but just say that you're one of Wisconsin's finest. You taught us more about apples and cooking and everything. We miss you. But happy birthday to you.
Long ago, Linda had a show here. Not long ago, but a while back.
Yeah,
she had a show called What's Cooking with Linda Ali.
That's so cute.
She's a gentle soul and would make things very easy to understand. Love Linda.
And very frank.
Very frank. She's funny. All the things.
All
Beautiful.
that good stuff.
Happy birthday, Linda.
Happy birthday, girl. And she's really not a cheesehead. She likes cheese, but she's not the typical Wisconsin person.
No, but she is a cheesehead.
Yeah, she is.
But she really is.
Hey, joining us right now is Rebecca. Hey, Rebecca, how are you?
Just fine. Could do with less of this humidity, but don't get my choice on that.
No,
it's going away. It's going to be comfortable a little bit this week.
Thank goodness.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I will look forward to that. I have a large ornamental grass. It's one of the variegated ones, and it's gotten really a bit large for its area, and I want to move it or divide it and move it, but I didn't know what time of the year I should do that.
So typically best time to transplant that grass would be, I would say, late fall, kind of going into winter when it's totally dormant, or in the spring before it gets a chance to push out new growth. But when you do, if it's a big mature grass, make sure you're really getting a lot of that root ball out.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you split it, make sure you're, kind of evenly dividing that root ball, just so that both parts get enough to continue growing.
Rebecca, I'll tell you a story. That root ball looks like a bundt cake. And we were at the plumbing shop one day, and the warehouse manager called me on the phone. He says, "Hey, we got somebody out here digging up the ornamental grass by the fence." So I go out there, and there's Dick Crum. Dick Crum had pulled up 2 or 3 of our ornamental grass and said, "Dick, you can't steal my grass." He says, "I'm just taking a cut out of it." And Dick took the time to show me how that bundt cake root ball, how it works. And he just whacked out a third of it or whatever, and then moved the other ones. And you know what? That grass never grew any better after he had done that. So pruning the back that root ball, Jack, that really does help the grass take off. But I didn't know whether to thank him or arrest him. He was pretty fine. Well, thanks, Rebecca. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right.
That helps.
That's a true story. Dick, what are you doing here, buddy?
The bundt cake reference is a good shape.
That's
too.
what it looks like, too. Craig joins us here on 93 WIBC. Hi, Craig. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
It's a fun morning. I'm not the butt of every joke.
At least that you know of.
Hey, Terry, I will tell you this. For people talking behind your back, always remember you're still in front of them, okay? There you go. Hey, Craig, how are you?
Hey, doing okay. Hey, you just said something that was a true story. Does that imply that some of your stories are not true?
There you go.
Oh, absolutely.
Thinking the same
That's
thing.
that's what Terry.
Now we
wait a
get
minute.
to it.
Are you related to Terry Stacy? What's going on here? Playing the part of Pat Sullivan is Terry Stacy. All right, Craig.
I feel like you guys are like family, so that's why I wanted to call you first. I've got one of these new homes up in Hamilton County, not far from your Sundown location, and it's got the lots. They scrape the lots, and you get nothing to begin with. So we had the front yard sodded, and then they put in a couple of trees, and it's the trees that I'm calling about. One of them is a honey locust, and one of them is a frontier elm. And they're probably about 2 inches in diameter, maybe 12, 15 feet tall. But they've never really gotten really green this year. They're kind of a yellowish green, and I didn't know, what I should be doing.
The honey locusts were called hybrid honey locusts forever because they came in and there was no known pest. Well, Mother Nature has a nice way of playing a lot of jokes on us, and one of them is that there now honey locusts are vulnerable to some sort of pest. I don't know what they are, but I do know that they get chlorosis, which they sort of yellow out. But Jack, I don't know. A 2-inch honey locust is a pretty good sized tree.
Yeah, I would almost think that if it is more of a recent development, you are just dealing with that kind of strip clay lawn, you don't have much topsoil. It could be that it does just need a good dose of iron tone to kind of make up for that chlorosis. Or if you haven't fertilized, it could use a good dose of fertilizer with something like holly tone or tree tone. Just to make sure that it does get that nutrient, especially if it seems like it's starting to maybe stunt a bit in the spot it is now.
Okay. And then the same on the elm?
I'm not familiar with the elm. Ever since we had the spotted elm disease, I have not kept up with elms. The only reason we had elms that I was aware of is because they were great mushrooming trees for morel mushrooms. But Craig, tell me about the tree.
Well, it's kind of got the same type look. I mean, as far as it doesn't have any leaf drop, but the leaves are just kind of a yellowish green, never really, the vibrant dark green like you see on the mature trees. So I didn't know if it's because it's only a year old now.
Have you fertilized them? Have you fertilized them or the lawn?
We just started with Sundown. They've done 2 treatments on the lawn, but I've not had them look at the trees yet.
All right.
So
Have you call
you first?
Call up to Sundown. You ask for a fellow by the name of Les Dunn. LESDUNN. It's a joke. You get less done when you call Les Dunn, but that's just a joke. But Les really knows his stuff. He really helped me with my maple trees. He helped me when we got into the boxwood blight, but he's really, really sharp. You may say that he looks like an unmade bed, but I'm telling you, this guy knows trees and he knows it. But Les Dunn at Sundown Gardens, and if you're already a client, I'm sure he'll come out and take a look at them for you.
Okay. Well, we'll do that. And I know you didn't know my last name, but you just said they'll look really sharp.
Okay.
So that was a pun on my last name.
Oh, I like it. I like it, Craig. Well, thanks for giving us a call, buddy. And you good luck, okay?
All right. Keep up the good work.
You bet. Hey, before we go to break here and get ready for Craft Corner, Jack, tell me about all the different types of tones. There's holly tone, tree tone, root tone. I didn't know there were so many different products by these folks.
Yeah, just about one for everything now. I think the big ones would be the biotone, so it's what you always plant with. And then for kind of your trees and shrubs, there's a tree tone, plant tone,
plants would just
tone.
Be for every type of plant.
Yeah, so if you have a perennial you don't know what to fertilize with, plant tone would be a good one. That's kind of like your all-purpose.
Indoor house plants, like if I have a Christmas cactus, what would I put on that?
So really that plant tone would work just as well.
All right.
Yeah, it's organic.
It's organic. Is it slow release? What is it that makes it so good?
It's slow release, but then it's just, again, all that organic matter to get right back into the soil, and it's going to linger in there for a while.
I just love that. These products like Jonathan green and hollies, or holly tones, or all the different types of tones. What they're doing is they're paying attention to the microbes themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And when we put in hard inorganic fertilizers into the ground, sometimes it kills all that stuff. It does get nutrients in there, but it takes away the microbes. And
it's almost a short-term fix, just really setting you up for failure down the road.
Sort of like taking an aspirin for a hangover, right? It's the Home and Garden Show. When we come back, the segment you've all been waiting for, it's Craft Corner. And I don't know if Kevin's Candles and Crafts is still the sponsor, but you know what? We're still going to give him love because he made it awful easy for us on Craft Corner. Terry Stacy, Allison Lemons, coming up next right here on 93 WIBC.
Stickers, buttons, and beads, doodle doodads, you gotta see. We're gonna have a crafty-rific time. I got scissors, ribbons, tape, and glue. I can tell you like to make things too.
You know, the sweetheart of WIBC has a bit of an edge. She has not been too happy with my videography. She says you can pinch, and you don't even have a microphone, Missy. But she says you can pinch and squeeze, and then she tells me to zoom in on her chest, and I'm going, Terry.
No. I sit on the FFA.
Well, where's your FFA? Your FAA?
It's right in the middle.
All right.
She can't help it. That's where the
So
logo
if you are watching me now and you're seeing it zoom in and zoom out, that's because Terry thinks she's Cecil B. DeMille over there and teaching me how to run it. All right, ladies, Craft Corner, it's all. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack, you too. And Craft Corner, it's all yours.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us this morning. And we'll make this
be
quick.
real sweet to the listeners.
Oh, well, we just turned on.
Okay.
So thank our friends Kevin from Kevin's Candles and Crafts. We want to thank him for his continued support and sponsorship of Craft Corner. He's an amazing individual. He's got a couple of things. We'll keep you updated as to where he will be with his fantastic candles that are a small batch and poured by hand. Until then, we're going to make a candle, and this is Allison's. Go.
Oh, it is? I only watched the video once. So we're going to keep mosquitoes away, everybody.
Right. You just tell me if you need help.
I hate mosquitoes this
Okay.
time of year.
Okay. Mosquitoes are the worst. So we're going to make some natural candles.
If I may, let me, if anybody has more, I think I would win a contest on who has the most mosquito bites. And I mean, I have them. I have 16 mosquito bites.
I have 18. I counted this morning.
I counted this morning. You're lying.
That is.
I do have a handful.
That is the Terry Stacy nobody ever sees. We bring out the best in her. For
Yes, that's for sure. Okay.
All right. So
Let's
what are we
make
doing?
Candles.
I guess I'm in charge. Okay, so here's some mason jars, everybody. You're going to need some old mason jars, which everyone has at home.
A clean ball.
A clean
jar.
ball jar, if you will. You're going to need some, what is that, rosemary and mint, some herbs.
Can you use any herbs?
Any herbs, yeah.
Yeah. That's so good to know. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking, Jack. I knew that. And then you're going to need some citrus fruits. So you can do oranges or lemons. We got some lemons already sliced up. And then a couple flowers, maybe
so
to make
good.
it pretty.
They
And then the most important
Oh,
part.
wow.
Lick it.
That's sour.
Wow.
And the most important part is citronella oil.
Ooh, very
Really?
important.
Where do you
Now,
get
can
citronella oil?
It's just essential oil, but it's citron.
Does it smell like citronella?
Well, if
Oh,
it's citronella
just like
oil.
citronella.
This is citronella, and the reason citronella is important, if I may,
No, please.
is that you can get this at the Walmart. You can get it at the Walmart.
What if she says
for
no? Give me
$10.
back my microphone.
I just want to make sure that you understand. Do not get the citronella fuel.
Oh.
Okay.
No.
Because you'll basically build a bomb. So I just want you to know that you need to get citronella oil, and that might be a little harder to find, but you can find it. Believe me. And again, we're trying to get away from mosquitoes. This
One
is a
thing
mosquito
that
repellent.
does not work though is eucalyptus oil. Just for anybody that's
Right,
watching,
right.
Do not use eucalyptus oil.
Do not use eucalyptus, and plus it's sneaky. Okay, go ahead.
All right,
And then
so
some flowers.
Yeah, and then just some little flowers you can find in your backyard just to make it a little pretty. So what we're
Okay.
gonna do is we're gonna put maybe a twig or two of the rosemary in our mason jar.
That's right.
And then
Do we
maybe
do it whole?
yeah, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
And then maybe crumble up a little bit of mint to get those fumes going.
Yeah. A couple of pieces of mint are beautiful. They'll also just give it a nice fragrance. And then Again, then you're going to put some of these in here.
Do we need any type of layering or just kind of?
No, I think you kind of just mix how you want it.
Water.
Can I put a flour in?
Oh, after
yeah.
we get the water in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jack,
So
you're,
put some,
you're right on
yeah,
the
put
edge.
some
She's
water
going to tell you to butt out in about 3
So you
seconds.
have your herbs, you have your citrus fruits, then you're going to pour some water in it.
Tell me when.
All the way to the top if you want.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go.
And then, all the way. Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful.
Doesn't it look beautiful? And then you're going to put several drops of citronella oil in it.
I like to put these flowers in there, Jack. I don't know if it's okay with you.
After the water, of course.
Yes.
So it's citronella time?
Yeah, so then put the oil drops in there.
How many drops?
About 3 to 5. And then you're going to want to stir it up a little bit.
Oh, that looks like 2, 3, 4, 5.
Perfect. And then you can mix it around, stir it up. And then last but not least, just to make it look pretty, I don't think, honestly, this part does much, but it makes it look cute. You're going to take a little tea light, and you're going to put, oh my, did you just
very strong.
Did you put your nose in there?
Yeah. I got it.
Wow. So if you're a mosquito, you don't want to be near that.
No, that'll work well.
So last but not least, plop your little floating candle in there. And then you can light it to make it look a little pretty, or you can just have the jar out itself. But just have that on your picnic table, and those mosquitoes should not bother you anymore.
That looks like something you'd find on a fine dining table.
Truly, like at a wedding in a barn.
a little cocktail
Like a
table.
rustic barn.
Terry, I want you to know that I'm zooming in on the ball jar.
I'm so proud of you for figuring it out.
Well, it didn't work in the beginning. It's only when the
Think of all
video
the
was
fun
on.
things you could do. Maybe a lime, maybe
Some oranges.
mint.
Yeah. You could even put some food coloring in it just to make it look pretty.
How about
I'd like
cinnamon? Could you put cinnamon in there, or would that?
No
that's not-
cinnamon.
No cinnamon. All right.
Cinnamon,
Oh,
absolutely.
that went well. Okay.
Yeah, but that's so pretty.
But there's so many herbs, so many citrus things that obviously mosquitoes don't like. So honestly, if you just look up a list of that, put all of them in a jar.
Your ball jars, by the way, are magnificent.
Thank
My
you.
buddy Joe Camille said,
They're very.
all you need is some vodka, but I figure you already have had some. So Joe's got a sense of humor. He's an East Coaster, big fan of John Wayne.
So there you go. That's keeping some mosquitoes away with your ball jars.
Yeah. Beautiful. Hey, thank you everybody that watched and will watch maybe in the future. Again, this is an easy one, and we like it, and it's also going to help us with our mosquitoes population.
And let me know what you think of the
good
zooming
things.
in and zooming out.
Yeah.
Was it clumsy or was it good?
Hey, what happened to our thing?
I don't know. Say goodnight, Grace.
Good night. Is that it?
There it is, the Home and Garden Show.
Is it over?
All the pressure was on me. You guys were just
man.
messing around. It's the Home and Garden Show. When we come back, we're going to be taking more of your calls. Give us a call, 317-239-9393. 317-239-9393, right here on WIBC. If you've never heard that before, that's Chad and Jeremy. The only other guy in the world that I think would know who was singing that song is my buddy from the Southside JMV. Hey, John, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Denny, awesome to talk to you, and what is going to be a very busy day and a very busy weekend going on around here, man.
Isn't it fun? It's the last weekend of the Indiana State Fair, and the Colts are playing at night tonight on a Saturday. Really unusual stuff.
Yeah, they are, and I would guess that the roof would be open as long as it's working right, and they got it repaired. So I'm assuming the roof will be open tonight. But, yeah, the one thing you have to watch out for, Denny, if you're going to the game tonight, obviously I want everybody to come down and see us in Touchdown Town at 4 o'clock. For the Colts pregame huddle, but you're going to get a lot of those trying to make the back end of the 53-man roster. So you got to wait until Cincinnati on the road Thursday, that final preseason game, where you're going to see at least a half from Anthony Richardson and the frontliners. But you're not going to see that tonight whatsoever. It's going to be like 3s and 4s and guys trying to make that squad at the tail end of the roster.
John, how do they do that? You know, it used to be the coach would just call you in and say, I'm going to put you on reserves, or you're certainly not going to get off the freshman team for a while. How do they do it in the pros? Do they put an orange tag on the locker? What do they do?
I believe somebody on the staff will approach the player's locker or whatever and say, Coach wants to see you. Can you bring your playbook? I believe that's how that goes down most of it.
Golly.
Yeah, I mean, then you don't know. Like it's so different nowadays because you are really auditioning for everybody else out there too. I mean, you're auditioning. That's why, if you're thinking tonight is, not a big deal because a lot of the starters aren't playing, whatever, understand. But you got guys trying to make this team, and then you got guys out there trying to show out for another team that may say, okay, well, we need a strong safety. Let's go ahead. If this guy's going to get cut, we'll take him. Or, once we build our roster, solidify it, we put together a practice squad, let's get this guy with his availability. So you really are truly auditioning for everybody around the NFL, not just for the Colts or the Cardinals tonight.
In business, John, we always try to find the best candidate. And in a family business, the inventory used to be just with family members, whether it was cousins, uncles, or whatever. So we really didn't get the cream of the crop. When you watch what takes place at the combine that has been taking place here in Indianapolis, psychological testing, physical testing, mental capacity, and even personality tests, it's really great that they have such a grand universe to choose from in the NFL.
Yeah, they do significant background checks, too. They look into absolutely everything. Now, this is a little bit different, Denny. This is a basketball player. So the Pacers on their team just re-signed James Johnson, and he's the enforcer. I call him the regulator.
Yeah, he's
making sure that guys from other teams don't get loose and get mouthy on.
He's the Bill Laimbeer of the 2020s, is what he is.
He's riding herd on his own bench decorum as well, making sure those guys on his own team, his teammates, also do what they're supposed to do, and that's necessary. Maybe not for every team, but it's necessary for the Pacers, and you have to have that on a roster. So it's weird how you build a roster and seeing everybody's background. But Chad Buchanan, the Pacer general manager, told me, I said, when did you find out that this guy was such a badass? And he said when he was looking at him when he was with Portland, he looked at James Johnson coming out of Wake Forest and did a little background check, and he knew that he was a badass when campus police told him that James Johnson had a stack 5 feet high of parking tickets, but they were afraid to approach him about it.
Oh my gosh!
So he went unpaid, but then, okay, we're going to let this one slide by because this dude, he is known as a bad dude, and some teams need that. Some teams need that type of enforcer. Some people need a guy like that to ride herd on a younger group of guys, and the Pacers are one of those. And it's funny how you can get that reputation going all the way back years ago to college, and it maintains and just builds with you. And you find out that somebody needs you in that capacity, like the Pacers do James Johnson, clearly.
There's somebody like that on every squad. I am very proud to say that the Green Berets and Special Forces train their canines at our farm. And one of the things I've noticed is that there are no prisoners amongst that squad. The Special Forces, they give each other more crap than you could possibly believe. And if somebody doesn't like it, it's not unusual to see a fight. And I have seen, what's funny is I have seen a fight where a guy's eye got busted up and needed stitches, and then one of the other Green Berets, who was the medic, stitches him up, and that's that. And then they shake hands and go on. I've not seen that on a sports team, but I know that it's been wanted to be done several times.
No, there's similarities to what you're talking about regarding sports too. It's just you're talking about at elite levels of both here of sports where you have to be a competitor. Like Denny. Somebody was asking me about Tyrese Halliburton not getting a time with the Olympic team.
What a great personality. Didn't he handle that well?
He handled it great. And selfishly for Pacer fans, Denny, that's good because he really needed some rest, and he got a lot of rest while also learning how guys at the elite level carry themselves, right? And not running some of that tread off the tire he'd done the past year. But you find stuff out at the elite level. These guys are completely different. At what you're talking about and sports at that level, completely different than most of us. And I'm talking about a competitor.
Yeah, John,
we talk all the time flippantly about being a competitor. We have no idea for the most part how it is at that level.
John, we got about 40 seconds. Tell us what's going on tonight.
Well, I'm going to be down at Touchdown Town with the Colts pregame huddle, 4 until 6, and then I'll walk back up to the station, and we're going to be doing a lot of 90s, just whatever night, but a lot of 90s, I'm sure. And I probably will kickstart at Denny around 7 o'clock is where I'll get back up for the JMV takeover tonight. I'll be 105.7 opposite of the Colts and the Cardinals. It'll be fun.
John, you're always welcome here. I've just completed 11 hours without Pat Sullivan, and I can't believe it. I miss him more than I ever thought I would. That's JMV from The Ride in the afternoons and then also Saturday evenings. You heard him say he's going to start at 7 tonight, 105.7. It's a great time. Right now, we're saying goodbye for this hour. We'll see you in a bit right here on 93 WIBC.
Well, some folks say that grown-up men are still just little boys. That really the only difference is the price of our toys. We go for macho symbols like guns and running shoes, pickup trucks, hunting ducks, and power tools, power tools, power tools.
Well, we made it through the third hour. We're about to crash right into the fourth hour here on the Home and Garden Show. We're brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. Water storms, fire and wet basements, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. We sure appreciate those guys, and you will too when you need them. When you need them, they come running, and they don't stop until they're done. And that's the best type of support you can get from contractors. 844-FIX-INDY is their number, 844-FIX-INDY. If you've got a question you want to jump on board, you give us a call, 317-239-9393. We got a real patient caller here that we have not been able to get to. Fulton, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Fulton.
What's news?
Thanks for joining. Thank you. How are you guys doing?
It's a great day.
Oh, yeah, it is a good day. We went to the Fort Wayne Zoo yesterday, so we had a good time. So
That's fun.
And they didn't keep you?
No, it didn't keep me, but what happened was when we were at the zoo, this tiger came right up to me and just tried to play with me. And then on the, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the screen thing. Like
the glass?
You know. Yep, the glass. Thank you.
The glass.
All right, so...
Were you playing with the tiger through the glass?
No, it jumped on me. It jumped.
It jumped?
Yep, it jumped.
Oh my gosh! Did you scream?
Goodness.
I screamed and I started to panic. I almost had a heart attack.
Did you get it on video?
Yeah, I got it on video.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, Fulton, if that happened to me, I wouldn't have solid stools for a week. What happened? How did that happen?
Well, what happened was I was saying, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty," and then it just came right up on me.
Wow.
Fulton,
You're like the tiger whisperer.
Yeah, kind of. You're right.
Okay. So did he take a bite out of you?
No, there's glass,
chunks?
Denny.
No, it was. He didn't take a bite out of me, but it was just glass.
Oh, it's just glass. All right. Well,
Oh,
you had
that's so
me
fun.
thinking that he jumped right up on top of you.
That's a great zoo.
Yep, it sure is.
Well, Fulton, we always appreciate your phone call. You stay out of trouble and don't let the the big
And
cats
we've
eat
got
you. Okay.
We've got a game next Saturday.
So your baseball game?
Yep, softball.
All
We're
right.
going to be playing against the level 3, and I think that's what's going to happen. Hopefully, we can win this next game. So,
What's your softball team name?
We're called the Rockin' Rookies.
The Rockin' Rookies.
Oh, I love it.
That's great.
You know, you
We'll
got
be cheering you guys on.
to have a good team. You got to have a good name, Fulton. You're almost there.
Exactly.
All right, buddy.
Good luck, Fulton.
Well, thanks, buddy. I don't know. I'm going to need your help on that one, boss. I've locked up the screen. Our number is 239-9393. There we go. Thanks for the help there, Landon. Kathy's joining us.
Oh, Denny, you're hanging up on everybody.
Okay, wait a minute.
Get a hold of yourself.
Kathy,
it's the fourth hour.
Kathy, call back.
Pat's almost here. He'll be back next week.
Yeah, here's
got
the
one
thing.
more hour. It's all right.
So it's time to talk
Less
about
than.
cicada killers. Did you guys know that the biggest wasp in the United States is the cicada killer?
I do. Well, they've built a beautiful nest right above in our backyard.
A cicada killer normally goes underground. Did they really?
Well, then maybe this isn't one. The research I've done, it says it's a cicada killer.
Hopefully it's not a big hornet.
Yeah. It might
The
be.
size of a watermelon.
Is it paper nest or what is
Paper.
it? Yeah, they go underground, and the reason they call them cicada killers is because that's what the female plants her eggs in. She grabs the cicada up on the tree, and then she can't carry it, but she can float down in a glide path, and that's about as far away as they get. Is that it?
Yeah, they're huge.
I will say that it does have. It is a black bug.
It's a brown bug.
This is a brown one you're talking about.
Right.
So I wonder what these are.
Oh, is it a bald-faced hornet?
They're bald-faced hornets is what they are.
Bald-faced hornet.
And they're meaner than hell, so you be careful with those. Cicada killers.
I mean, I really thought so too.
Cicada killers, only the females have stingers.
Or white, black
Harry,
and white.
Listen, only the females have stingers. The males have a stiff spine, and they sort of act like they can sting you, but they can't hurt you. It's only the females that have stingers.
Of hornets?
So
No, cicada killers.
Cicada killers.
Yeah,
So what
hornets, everybody's armed and dangerous.
Hornet. So the hornet that we're talking about that has built the nest, this is a hornet. It's called a bald face.
Bald-faced hornets. It's because their face is white.
Yeah. So
they're mean.
Bald.
So they're very social too. So if one feels that they're being aggressed or threatened, they can send off, that signal that'll attract the others to come kind of rally.
They're just like the Irish.
To their defense.
They're just like the Irish. If the Irish get in trouble, they start going, Holy Mary, Mother of God! And here comes all the Irishmen trying to
everybody in the town.
Which reminds me of Sausage Fest today. Sausage Fest.
I'm trying to talk about cicada killers
St. Thomas
here.
Aquinas. It's the biggest thing you've ever seen.
Oh, people
All
love
right.
it.
Talk about your sausage. Talk about your sausage.
It's for St. Thomas Aquinas. It's
Okay.
called Sausage Fest, and it is a magnificent, giant event that goes on from 5 to midnight again tonight, last night and tonight. But it's big, Denny. I mean,
Spicy
it's really one of the
sausage,
biggest.
plain sausage.
Yeah, all the sausage.
All the sausage.
Yeah.
Can
Anyway, please go ahead.
I want to finish with my cicada killer.
I want you to tell us.
This is really gross. Okay, so the female grabs the cicada up on the tree, stuns it because she has a stinger, but she doesn't poison it. She just stuns it. She brings it back down to her nest. She drags it into the hole. She has up to 18 eggs, so that means that there might be 18 different baby cicadas that are, or cicada killers that will grow. She puts the egg inside the cicada. The baby cicada wakes up as a larva and eats the cicada while it's still alive from the inside out.
It's a terrible story.
And the last thing it eats is the spinal column, and only then does the cicada die.
That is a terrible.
That's why they call them
terrible
cicada killers.
Story. Is
Yeah.
that the only thing they'll eat?
Uh-huh.
Is a cicada.
Did you
everybody's
notice the
gotta
name,
eat, but
Terry?
man.
I know. I want to go slow here. Did you notice the name of the wasp? What was it
Yeah,
called?
but that could be anything. I mean, what if there weren't any more cicadas?
Well,
so then it's
why
got
don't
to
you
eat something else.
Why don't you kill it first and then
Yeah.
enjoy
Why
it?
wouldn't you kill it first? Because
You're torturing
Some
it.
people
Yeah.
like to play with their food.
Well,
Yeah,
that
that's why I
spider,
don't like that.
spiders
Spiders
stun
the
it,
same
and they
way.
do the same thing.
Yeah.
They bring their meal down
This
there.
doesn't seem
So
very...
what about the
Doesn't-
bald face thing I've got? Is it going
Nice.
to?
you
It's
you
awful.
stay away from those bad boys and girls because they are just mean.
By your pool.
And it's hanging over, right over.
Well, if you're going to do anything with it, I would take a 12-gauge shotgun
No.
at night. Now, wait a minute. Listen to your Uncle Denny.
You're telling Terry
To shoot a gun
to
at
shoot
the wasp
a gun
nest.
at a wasp.
At a horse.
After
night.
dark. After dark.
That's
well,
even better.
you can
but you
cut
can't
it down
see.
after dark and then take it and put it in a big plastic
Listen.
bag, double wrap it, and then take it someplace
They
else.
haven't harmed anybody or anything yet.
Then why are you complaining about them?
Because I wanted to know what they were,
They're bald-faced hornets.
and they would kill me
If they got a chance.
if they got a
If
chance.
you made them mad.
They haven't seemed to be upset with us. And I've also understood bees and hornets.
I'm
and
not
wasps
sure they want to be
all
in studio with you
recognize
today.
You. They
Yeah.
recognize you. They're on your property. They recognize you. They learn to love you.
Let's
Care for you.
Yeah,
Care for
Landon,
you.
Check up on
would you
you.
bring
Check
up
up on
Kathy
you.
so I don't hang up on her again? Kathy, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm sorry I hung up on you. You know,
That's okay.
the technology here. And Terry's been riding me like a rented mule. I thought she was playing the part of Pat
sorry.
today.
No, it's okay. Just having some fun.
Yeah, boy, at my expense.
That's right.
Go ahead, Kathy. What do you got?
Your cicada story was gross.
I
Yeah,
know.
agreed.
Yeah, agreed. Awful.
So here's my question. We transplanted a weeping redbud and a Japanese maple to another place in our front yard in April, and all the leaves have dropped off.
The maple or the redbud? The maple or the redbud?
For both of them.
Oh.
But when we go to bend the branches, some of them are like bendable. They're not like breaking off. So we're trying to decide whether or not they're alive.
So, yeah, if you're able to scratch anywhere along the stem on either of those and you have green, so just using your thumbnail and you have green under there, it's still alive. If you transplanted both of those trees in April and they had already started to leaf out for the season,
A little bit, yeah.
my guess would be that they just had gone through some transplant shock and the leaves that were coming out were just so young that the plant wasn't able to hold on to them. But again, if you can scratch anywhere on the stem and still get some green, it's still alive and it'll come back next spring, hopefully looking just fine.
Kathy, you've just scared it to death during transplant. It really is a shock, and I God bless you, because I lost my weeping redbud this year. And we kept scratching it, and all we got was dead wood. So you're ahead of us, but we lost ours this year.
Okay. Well, people kept telling us that they should have grown leaves again by now, and so that's why we were curious.
I think it's kind of late in the season. If it were springtime,
it's been so hot too, and I would imagine that it would just be kind of riding through the summer, not using energy to push out more growth.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Kathy.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed, and we'll try testing the stem.
Yeah, and sorry I hung up on you before. I really didn't mean to. Okay.
It's fine, no problem.
All right. Those pepper ladies got me all fired up, and I've just not been the same since they left.
I don't think any of us have.
Yeah, see you, Kathy. All right, our number, 239-9393, 317-239-9393. Plenty of room for your calls, and we'll talk about Terry's bald-faced hornets when we come back, right here on 93 WIBC. Everybody wants to know what happens when the mics go down and we start running commercial sets. Terry started showing us pictures of ant heads, and it is spooky. And I have a fun fact for you, Terry. Okay. Did you know that there is a species of ants only found in one 14-block strip of New York City, and they're called Manhattan ants? Manhattans.
Are you lying?
No. There it is.
Wait, is this real or is this a bad joke?
No, it was just
real.
Wow.
They're only found in New York City. It's a completely different species of ants, and only in 14 blocks there.
Do they know why?
I don't know why.
I think so. I remember seeing something about this, and it was that they are like the only ant that can eat processed food, that it can break down.
Gosh.
Like,
Check.
Only
now,
in America.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, it was on the latest BBC, Planet Earth.
That is so interesting, how ants and things that adapt to wherever they are.
They can eat a hot dog and break it down where, like a fire ant.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Were you here when we interviewed the lady from Purdue, that
myrmecologist?
And she said that like 347 different species of ants just in Indiana. So they're a very unadaptive species.
They first showed up in the city in 2011.
The Manhattans, or whatever they're called.
Ants.
Do they look like normal ants?
They do.
We've got our own personal fact checker. Terry thinks I'm lying, so Allison jumps on the Google machine and finds out, and I'm not lying to you, Terry Lynn.
I know you're not lying, but sometimes I think you are.
I would say their legs are a little more lanky.
Oh.
It's more spidery.
Yeah, more spidery. That's a good way of putting it.
Hey, Jack, we've got a listener
amazing.
question here, too. Serious question. The listener happens to be Brian Wilkes of Fox 59.
Oh, okay.
The best weatherman in the world. Serious question. I have a small Japanese maple that abruptly is shutting down right now. Its leaves have turned bright red, like a fall-like symptom, and it looks like the leaves will soon drop. I know it's been dry, but everything else looks okay. What's going on?
My guess is just that, do you know if it was transplanted recently?
Don't know. Wilkes, he doesn't transplant. Wilkes it's there until it dies.
Yeah. My guess would be just kind of early season stress. It has been so hot, and even some heavy wet stretches can stress it out enough where it could go through that early leaf drop. But it's doing exactly what it should, turning red.
Take care of itself.
Yeah.
Take care of itself. Wow, look at this. All of a sudden, we've got a bunch of calls. Let's see who has been there the longest, and that would be Terry. So let's grab Terry. Hey, Terry, how are you? Hello, Terry?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, there we go, Terry.
Hi there. I had a couple of apple trees. There were one's a Honeycrisp and one's an Empire. And they're about 10 years old. They've just been trimmed over the last winter. And the leaves are starting to, this is the second year in a row, the leaves have started to turn brown and they're falling off and they're starting at the bottom instead of the top. And it's just, this is the second year and I just didn't know what in the world's causing that.
Yeah, so my guess would be a moisture issue. If you were to see some of the apple trees we have in containers, still at Allisonville that have maybe not been watered, it would look exactly like what you just described. A lot of times those containers get so root bound, so if you can poke some holes in there, the bottom of that root ball to try to get water down in there, my guess is it's just not getting enough water.
Okay. All right.
Well, that was easy.
Is it too late for them now?
They're not going to set fruit right now, but you can save them. Yeah, you can save them.
So I would say continue doing what you're doing. Just make sure that that center of that root ball gets enough water, just so that whole root system can kind of go dormant for the winter.
There you go, Terry. Thanks for calling us. You can get online too, 239-9393, area code 317-239-9393. That's what Carol did. Carol, what's up?
I have a tree. It's not a large tree. And bees are around it. They're just flying all over the place. I can't see a nest or anything, and I don't know what kind of bees they are. One evening late, about 6 or so, when the sun went down, I tried spraying it with some hornet or something, bug spray. And they flew away or what have you. But they were back the next day. But there's something about that tree that seems to attract them. Is there anything I can do, or can you tell me an exterminator for bees or something?
Oh, I wouldn't try to exterminate them unless they're really hassling you. A lot of people call everything that looks like a wasp or a bee a bee. Can you tell if it's really a bee or is it a wasp? Is it a
yellow jacket?
Yeah, maybe. Can you tell us what it looks like?
It's not a yellow jacket. It's kind of blackish looking, but it looks like a honeybee, but it's not yellow or anything on it either.
There are some species of bees and wasps that don't. What the tree puts out is sometimes called honeydew, and there are specific types of insects that eat the honeydew, and then these would be predators to those. That might be what's going on. You can spray them to make them go away, but if they're really not hassling you, they're just, noisy around the tree and a little bit of a nuisance, you might want to let them live because they are still pollinators.
Okay, no, they're not hassling us. I just have kids that are around sometime, and I don't want them by the tree, where the bees might get aggravated or something.
Yeah, well, just warn them about it. IR1, kids are stupid, and we do stupid things, but we really are pretty commonsensical when it comes to something with a stinger or, with fire in its belly that can hurt us.
Yeah, if you stress that they don't swat, if they're not swatting at them, they really should have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, Carol, I'll tell you a story about my mother-in-law. I'm allergic to bees. If I get stung by a bee, I've got to give myself a shot in the leg of epinephrine to keep my throat from swelling up. But my mother-in-law could take a bee sting. Every time a bee got around her, she would start swatting at it. And, of course, then the bees just come in more. And she'd always say my father-in-law's name, "Oh, Bob, oh, Bob." And she'd just be going like this, and the bees would just swarm on her. And here I am. I'm allergic to bees, and I didn't move an inch, and the bees never touch me. So if Jack's right. If you leave them alone, they're going to leave you alone.
Right. That's hard to tell a child that.
I know.
It's very hard.
Exactly.
You only have to tell them once. The second time they listen.
They'll learn.
Thanks, Carol. Okay, let's see. Well, we better do our homework, and then we'll come back and take some more calls. We've got Robert and Vicky and Debbie and Bonnie and Lisa. Everybody's got something to talk about right here on 93 WIBC. All right, getting close to that old speed round. We're brought to you by the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. 844-FIX-INDY when you need them. Landon Coons is at the board. The lovely Allison Lemons, who puts up with Hammer and Nigel 5 days a week, always comes in for us. Terry Stacy's here. Jack Phipps is here. And, Jack, you've got a special announcement for some folks far, far away.
I do. They're listening from just across the border, but I want to say a big shout out to all my family at the Phipps family reunion up in Michigan.
Oh, I bet they're having potato salad and baked beans and Robert
The whole family
Redford.
tradition started with my grandma, who had a weenie wag, where we go out and have, just a hot dog roast every year at the farm. And now that she's passed, we still carry that on, just different places.
That's
every
pretty
year.
cool.
So glad that you did.
Now, do you do the three-legged races? Do you do all the wheelbarrow stuff?
No, we
Or-
usually drink a little too much. We can't handle that.
Pretty good at drinking
Just
beer.
kidding.
Yeah, that's the Phipps family. Well, hey to the Phipps family.
Yeah,
up in
love you
Michigan.
guys.
Aw.
Good to hear you. Isn't that cool?
It's fun.
Where is it? You said over the border. What'd you say?
So they're at Lake Klinger up in Michigan.
Okay.
Well,
north.
why aren't you there?
Well, I had a role to fill here.
Oh,
Which, thank you for
thank
loaning
you.
Jack to us.
Honestly, thank you for doing that. Because
He's really doing a better job than, well, I can't say that. He's a little bit easier going than Pat.
That we can say.
That we can say.
Yeah.
That's not a stretch in any way. All right, next up, somebody wants to talk about worms. Terry, I'm sure this is for you. Hey,
sure.
Vicky, how are you?
Hey, good afternoon.
Hi.
I have a friend that is having a problem with worms in a tree that she's got.
Now, wait a minute, Vicky. It's okay if they're your worms, okay? we always said, I have this friend. If they're your worms, just own up to it, okay?
Well, but they're not.
Okay.
They really are hers. She posted it on Facebook, and I just happened to hear you guys talking about worms, and I'm like roaming the, out and about, and I finally pulled over to call you guys, and I didn't know what type of worm she had. She did post a picture, and it looks like it's like a big spider web all over. Is that, somebody keeps telling her it's silkworms, but you guys were talking about a catawba worm or something?
No, they're not catalpa. Jack, they're a pest, and it would be good if she could treat them, but they're really hard to treat because they're so far up there.
If you can get up there with like a tall tree limb pruner and cut that branch out, that's going to be your best way to kind of physically remove.
Okay, is it a silkworm?
Or a tent caterpillar.
Tent caterpillar is probably what it is, but
okay.
they won't hurt you, but they will defoliate anything they get near.
So they're sucking bugs, and they will take down that, the end of the limb that they have that webbing around. So I would just go ahead and cut that out.
Okay, that's what it showed on her Facebook page, was people were going, no, you need to get rid of that.
That's right.
And I just wanted to make sure that if she had something kind of valuable instead of something that was going to kill her tree.
Oh, no, they're not valuable. Vicky, they're a pain in the butt. They're just a real pain. And they'll just get worse and worse and worse.
Do they turn into a butterfly?
Not those.
Not those.
Not
okay.
those. They just eat. But here's the thing: you can fry them up just fine. I mean, don't be afraid to torch them. If you're going to have to dispose of them in plastic bags, cut them up, put them in the paper bag, and if you can't do that, burn them. Burn them in a 55-gallon drum.
Wow.
Okay.
Hey, it's them or us, Terry. Vicky, I wish you could see Terry. She just gave herself the crucifix.
Burning them to death.
I'm not for sure where it is on her property. I know she's got a lot of trees in the back.
Yeah.
And I'm not for sure where it's located, but I know she had several people that commented going, oh, no, need to get rid of those. And I thought, well, it'd be nice if I could give her some good news and tell her it's a good thing, but now it sounds like everybody told her it's a bad thing. It is a bad thing.
See, the problem, Terry has this way about her that she thinks everybody will just go away nicely, that the worms will just go away. Nobody's going to bite. And the mosquito bites, she has 16 mosquito bites on her elbow to her wrist, and she thinks, well, they'll get full and they'll go away.
I just won't put up a fuss. They'll leave.
This is what we're dealing with here, Vicky.
We all can't just get along.
Why can't we all just get along? Yeah,
I
right.
don't understand it.
I know. I heard somebody lied and said they had more mosquito bites than she did.
Yeah, well, Jack does have more mosquito bites. Yeah,
we can count them.
Vicky, thanks for calling. It took a lot of bravery to do that for a friend.
Well, I've known her since high school, and I thought, boy, I'd like to give her some good news instead of bad news.
Yeah.
But she's already been given the bad news, so she won't need to hear from me until I talk to her later on.
If you're a good friend, you're still call and give her bad news. That's what you do. That's what friends do, Vicky. All right, there we go. Let's see if we can talk to somebody about Rosa Sharon. Hi, Debbie. How are you?
Hi. Hey, I have heard you guys say that you can't kill a Rosa Sharon, but I have one that is very big and very lanky. How far can I cut it back?
6 inches underground.
Challenge accepted.
Okay. It's so pretty when it blooms.
I know.
It's getting so lanky right now.
So that
it's
Rosa,
kind of going over the neighbor's fence, and so I probably should cut it back. But I'm not going to hurt it if I cut it way back.
Yeah, you can cut a Rose of Sharon back almost as much as like a big grass or a burning bush. If you cut back to just the biggest branching, you may have a year until you get a lot of dense branching again. You could really do any pruning you want to that.
Well, then I also have a statement. You were talking about some kind was it a biotin or biotine product?
Yeah, the biotone.
Earlier? Okay, well, I just had to tell you a funny story because my husband uses a mouthwash called Biotine.
That's right. Oh,
I put it. Well, but I put it on my Alexa and told her, I said, put Biotine on my shopping list. When I got to the drugstore, I opened it up and it said Buy, BUYATEEN, Buy-18.
There's a lot of people selling them, I'm telling you. Oh, Debbie, you're the best.
Oh, that's funny.
Don't forget you plant your Hostess. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that earlier in the show.
Okay, my husband loves cupcakes, so we're going to plant some of those.
That's great. Thank you, Debbie.
Wouldn't that be great?
Is that fun or
Listen,
what?
was a Hostess tree you could
I want a golden Hostess cupcake.
Yeah, I want
tree.
I think we've got time for one.
Bush.
Me too.
Yeah,
I want a
bush
ding
is
dong
the
bush.
way to go.
Time for one more, an old friend of the show, Vonnie. How are you, Vonnie? Vonnie?
My Vonnie lies over the ocean. My Vonnie lies over the sea.
Well, go ahead. You can finish.
Is Vonnie on the phone ready to talk to us? We'll wait by the phone just to see.
Nope. We gave Vonnie a fair chance.
That was really good. I write a lot of music.
Yeah,
I can tell.
Our number is 317-239-9393. Coming up, it's the Speed Round brought to you by Thompson Furniture. We'll be taking your calls. 239-9393.
What started as a show with hot peppers with Tiny and Jenny. We've talked about hornets and yellow jackets, and now it's time to hear from you. We answer your questions lickety-split, but you want to tell us about your favorite Hostess snack. And that's okay! Who's ready for the speed round? Who? You can't handle it! The speed round is brought to you by
Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. That was well done, Allison.
Oh,
Great
man.
pricing on Lazy Boy, Indiana-made Smith Brothers furniture. Mattresses made in Indiana, maintenance-free outdoor furniture, free delivery up to 75 miles. It's ThompsonFurniture.net. Give them your business. They're great people. ThompsonFurniture.net. Look at all these calls. Let's get right to it. Going to talk to Robert first, if I can get him up here. Hey, Robert, how are you?
Hey, Denny, I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. What can we do to help you?
I've got a situation with a water heater that just quit working. It's about 10 years old, and I know that's at the tail end of its lifespan, but it was in a single-person house, so I know it didn't get much use. And the other twist is I found out that it quit working last summer. So it's been sitting unused for a year. Does that have any bearing on whether I should try and get it fixed or just replace it?
Gas or electric?
Gas, sir.
Gas?
Yes.
All right. Gas, it's worth fixing. You can take a look at it. It might be something as simple as a thermocouple, which is real easy to fix. You might even be able to do that yourself. But I would be willing to fix it, even though it's 10 years old. The fact that it's sat for a whole year is not a big deal because if they're opening the hot water faucet, they're still moving water through it. And quite frankly, it would do better with cold water than hot water because calcium and magnesium will not precipitate out of it. So I'd give it a shot, buddy.
All right.
All right.
No, I mean, it looks brand new, like I said, in a single-person home, and I just know it didn't get much use from that person. So
There you go. Hey, thanks for giving us a call. Next up, we've got Jim. Jim, welcome to the Speed Round.
Yes, two statements there. One, last week you talked about alcohol and antioxidants. Pomegranate juice with blueberry mixed with it, and there's your antioxidants. 3 fingers of that and 3 fingers of tequila.
Sounds good to me.
And then Would that work?
I don't know. It's the number of units of antioxidants that you have to. What Jim is talking about is I've been reading this book, says drink as much as you want and live longer. And it was written by a pharmacist who maintains that it's the number of antioxidants that your body consumes that can outlast all of the detrimental things that are happening to your liver. Interesting read. I don't know if its efficacy will play out or not. But, Jim, I appreciate that. Pomegranate oil sounds pretty good to me.
Okay, I got a question on my yard.
All right.
I got rough spots in it, well-established grass. What was trying to fill the rough spots in with sand or a sand mixture?
They do that in Florida. Yeah, I've seen that, and I've got rough spots too. I have never had much luck because the sand washes out. But Jack, if we're doing it, as long as we're just covering it a little bit at a time, I guess any type of soil might work to fill the rough spots.
I would think, just lightly kind of layering on, even just topsoil or peat moss on there if you can, something that'll just kind of lightly layer up.
I tell you what, why don't you try this? A little bit of dirt, a little bit of sand, and then mix it in. And then what they do in Florida, of course, they cut their grass a lot closer than we do. We're at 2.5 to 3.5, sometimes 4 inches in our cut. But what they do in Florida then is they have a drag line behind it, and it fills it all in and smooths it all out. We can't do that in the way we do our soil, but it's worth trying to fill them. But I think the sand will not do as well as sand and dirt.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks for the cocktail recipe.
Pomegranate. 3 fingers of tequila and 3 fingers of pomegranate juice. That works. We got regular Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hey, I got to talk quick. This is a question for Jack. Look, Denny, you always said I was a plumber, and I'm not. I started developing, and then I actually do the outside work. So listen. Hamilton, Henderson, all the surrounding counties. This is a question that's going to end up for Jack. We'd come in and we would tear down trees. I hated it. But we would tear down it all to make it right so they could build their homes or whatever. And then what happens is we strip all the topsoil off with a paddle wheel or a scraper, and we do that, and we sell that. It became such an expensive thing to be able to sell that topsoil for more than we could ever put down on anyone's lawn on their building pad, house pad. Okay, so I'm asking Jack, doesn't that have an effect because they have to actually plant a tree they would come along with that hose cone thing or whatever it looked like and plant a tree, and there's nowhere for the roots to grow. Is that the honest truth or not? And I'm so sorry for taking your time.
No. So it's a really good question. And we all have that clay soil, whether it's a new home or an old home, at some point you get down to that clay regardless of how deep you go. And honestly, clay has its benefits, but when it's compacted, plants don't know how to grow into it. The roots aren't strong enough. But really breaking up the clay in the ground ahead of time just so that the roots get a chance to learn to grow in there does kind of mitigate some of that damage. So it's not making it impossible, but it does certainly take a little extra care to break up that clay and make sure that you're not just carving out a bowl in the clay for the plant to sit.
What a great answer. You're welcome back here anytime.
Thank you.
I like
Good
that.
answer. Good answer.
You do see those developments where they're just plopping, they're plopping in to make kind of a border.
It's deceiving.
And that's interesting that you say that. They're just trying to make
that.
it look pretty for a minute, but how long will that?
They do that with
roadside. It hits the clay, and
they got to start
roadside
over.
improvements are the same way, and about half the trees don't make it because
I
they've done
believe
all
that.
this time.
And we also hear about the salt. The salt that they lay down the salt in the wintertime, and it's splashing up against those medians that have those beautiful new baby trees.
Pretty tough. Let's talk to John. He's got a question about an elephant ear, the plant, I hope.
Yes, it is. Hello, and long-time listener, first-time caller.
Aww.
My elephant ears. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my elephant ears outside are turning brown or yellow, and they were always nice and green, and I don't know why that's happening.
So Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of time with that yellowing, it's going to be moisture related. So either too much or too little. If it's just the oldest leaves on there, the ones, that are smallest, closest to the base, my guess would be that it's just, shedding those oldest leaves to make way for the new. But if you're getting all the leaves to yellow, it probably is a moisture issue.
It looks like it's the one on the base, the newer ones that are coming up that are browning out.
Okay, the newest ones, the ones on top?
Yeah, no, they're just popping up from the shorter ones.
Oh, okay. So
it's definitely moisture.
Yeah. So I would say if you can, try to cut back or on the watering. If you were to go, feel a couple inches down in the dirt if it's wet. Don't water if it's dry. Water, and I would just be a little more careful on watering it.
John, the problem is the symptoms for too much water and not enough water are pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
So he's right. If you've got a moisture meter, jam it down in there and see what your moisture is. But other than that, just use your pinky finger. And if it's too hard, use a screwdriver first and then put your finger down in there, and you'll be able to tell whether there's enough water down there. Okay?
Okay, all right. So just make sure. So there's a happy medium, but I can probably get a moisture meter at Sullivan's, right?
Yes, and we can show you exactly how to use it.
Okay, and I asked for Jack there.
Jack at Allisonville. Carrie would be great help at Keystone.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
And Allison, remind us one more time what's coming up next Saturday at the Sullivan Complex.
Next weekend, we're going to be at Indie Egg Fest at Sullivan Hardware, 71st and Keystone.
Isn't that going to be fun? All you can eat, adults $40 and
kids $10. And then also, I think there's a few demo eggs left. So if you're interested in buying a big green egg,
25%
SullivanHardware.com, you get 25% off, I believe. Just put a $250 deposit down.
I love that. Allison, you've been great this week. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Denny. Thank you, Terry. And thank you, Jack.
Jack.
Of course.
Yeah,
Landon.
We got to get you back.
Thank you so much, Landon.
Landon, you got to do something about that hat.
Why? What's wrong with the hat, Danny?
Well, it's a 10-gallon hat for a 5-gallon head.
That's true, but we ain't going to change that.
We ain't going to change that. 93 WIBC.